interesting angle. We just got to remember when we're talking.
Oh, yeah, the
That's
camera.
The camera. Yeah.
Okay.
Good evening, Fansplash fans. Welcome to our... This isn't our first watch party. We did a watch party for Death of Superman. This is our most official, most anticipated watch party that we have done so far. This just the two of us right now, Alex and myself.
We should be expecting Dan as well. So
People are going to be kind of rolling in and out throughout this video, so it's kind of going to be a fun little community environment. Make sure to join us. We have the chat open on the side here, so if you want to get involved in the discussion, please do. The movie's about 2.5 hours long, so there'll be plenty of time to talk about your favorite scenes, what you do and don't like about the movie, all those general things. Let me just make sure that we get this shared on here. Bear with me. So I'll make sure that everyone's got access to this. Get out of here. Yeah, okay. So yeah.
I'm so curious.
Before we start, here, come here, doggo. Come on, up here. Come. We got. Don't be scared. Don't be camera. Okay, that's not gonna happen.
Oh, he hates cameras.
All right. Your general kind of feelings about how long we were trying to figure out how long it's been since you had seen Man of Steel.
Yeah, so I remember watching it a few times in theaters, but I think my last real time watching the movie was right after it came out on DVD the first time, and that was still like 4 years ago, so at least so.
That was one of the first movies I waited for to come out. Like once it came out on DVD, I was there. Hey, yeah, no Post-its.
And yeah, it's like I was even discussing with you that I'm not a very big fan of Superman over there.
But this Hans Zimmer score,
the Hans Zimmer score. I mean, just the direction of the movie. I mean, how real they wanted to make every area feel.
They took the best of the Christopher Nolan inspiration
and
produced it
and ran with it. It was by no means a perfect movie, but explain to me the faults. You know, like it was one of like DC's only movies that I could comfortably say was a great movie. You know, we have Wonder Woman so far. I'm hoping with Aquaman and Shazam too, that the singular.
Maybe they just keep doing origins well, and they just need to leave the group movies aside for a while.
Because the group movies, they're a mess.
It's been a hot mess. What upsets me is, in my opinion, I think DC started out stronger than Marvel did. I love Iron Man, but I like Man of Steel more.
Yeah, Man of Steel was a much stronger start, you know, than Iron Man was, for sure.
It left more of an impression with me, and it did so much world building, you know, where like Iron Man takes place in our world. This one let us know about Krypton and the idea of like metahumans and like
immediately.
No one had ever been so interested in Krypton as until this movie.
Yeah,
like the first 20 minutes on Krypton or whatever.
Nobody would have cared about Krypton otherwise.
So I know that we are expecting company, but I held off seeing this movie. I usually watch this movie like once every few months. It's in my top 10 movies of all time, not just comic book movies, but movies in general. And I can't wait to watch it. You know what's funny is our phones have not been going off for the last hour, and now that we're starting the stream, they are both blowing up nonstop. Dancing.
Yeah.
All right, so
I'll
just
be
in time,
right
I will hold on starting the film. Dan will be coming. Hold on, doggo, stay. I got you. Okay. Hi everybody, this is Genji. If you're just joining us, Genji is named after Overwatch because he's a ninja. Hi, Genji. And we are just stalling because Alex went to get Dan from outside, and we're gonna watch Man of Steel. Ow! Stay here.
Yes.
Hey, the party's here. Door closed. Door closed. Launch. Send. Go.
Alex Plyler?
Oh, you know?
Yeah.
Wild.
Wait, you know Alex Plyler?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's upstairs boyfriend.
Yeah, I just looked at his car
Like
yesterday.
Alex Potter lives upstairs.
Shut the fuck
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Well, I saw his bike out
We
there, so I was like,
graduated with him.
well, yeah.
Wow,
you
they're
did.
home. Do you guys want to
Are we not the
real
same
fast?
age?
What?
You guys want to say hi real fast?
Yeah.
I mean, I think they'll
I
be
brought
wow.
my comics over.
Hey, anybody
As
who
long as my comics don't get eaten.
yes,
I'm sending,
we'll resume.
I'm sending
We'll
the
resume
comics
shortly.
there just in case the
Everybody's
dog
here.
eats them. You know. I'll just put them up there. Well, I saw a bike.
We're pretending like the watch party started right now. Hey guys, hey, welcome to the Fansplash channel. We just got the group together, the squadron, if you will, for our Steel fan watch party.
Oh, I see how it is.
Oh no.
And this
That's
is
why I don't want to sit next to you.
Oh.
this is a completely
Another church because we're gonna have more people.
unbiased review where there's a variety of opinions here of people that like and don't like the movie. Cough.
Wait, someone here does not like the movie.
No, that was complete sarcasm. We are gonna fanboy all over this film.
Oh yeah, we are.
Where is my gift to you?
Gift to who?
You before we start our. I like how we spend like 2 hours waiting to start this, and we start this, and we're so out of whack.
You guys are so unorganized. How many people do we got watching?
Probably nobody yet.
Nobody. Look. Oh, YouTube. Got one thumbs up. There we go. Wait, where's? Oh, there's the camera.
Yeah, the camera's
I
right
see.
there. So whenever
Alright.
you look, you're talking to the audience. We're just in this general area. And bro, I know I brought my comics in. I thought I did. Well, you'll get your Deathstroke comics at some point today.
Deathstroke?
Oh.
Look,
Those ones you
at
just
the
got.
goodies.
Aliens. Sick.
So of course, had to get Spawn Volume 3 so I can keep up on that.
Some Watchmen.
Finally got the Before Watchmen, and then I bought all the Predators and then Alien Stand.
But Christine, I'm Adrian. This is Dan.
Hello.
And this is Jesse. I don't know if you met Jesse already. But...
Nice to meet you.
If she's the one I told you about, that is the Wonder Woman
And Doctor Strange?
and Doctor Strange.
My apologies. Doctor Strange is in my top 5 Marvel movies.
I don't even know if I have a top in Marvel movies.
Get out of here, man.
It's like Infinity War
like,
and Infinity War.
What's your favorite Marvel character? Thanos?
Pretty
And then
much.
Thanos in Guardians? And
Camera?
then Thanos at the end of Avengers?
Like a live stream.
I just told them we're gonna start the movie 10 minutes in, so if anybody starts the podcast late, they just fast forward. Forward. Let me check my car real quick.
It'll take a while to guess and say that you like the Flash.
It is Superman. Yeah, the Flash is okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's just all right. I have a couple things, not that much.
Oh, I'm done. They're right here. We had too much stuff on the counter.
38, different pieces. Which is my goal is like 5,000.
Dan's presents.
Wait, what are my presents?
There you go.
Ooh. Here we go.
Open it up. There's 3 issues in there.
3?
Yeah.
Rebirth.
Oh, and if you'd like anything to drink, I've got some soda over here. Sweet. So we've got 2 different kinds of Mountain Dew, Pepsi, and ginger ale.
You guys about ready to kick into this masterpiece?
You're not helping my addiction at all. Like
No.
No, you
dove.
Yeah,
that's
right.
You like tripped, fell, and like drowned, and you're like,
I'm seriously at the point where I almost need a box now. Like
you need a box.
it's getting
and
like
an
it's like my
intervention.
pile is probably like right there now.
Did you finish watching our Oh, you probably haven't seen part 2 yet. I just dropped
I watched
part 2 today.
1.
At the end of part 2, you get to see the total collection that we got, the haul for the day.
Oh man,
It's intense.
It was wild.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. That's another opportunity for me to just drop a shout out that everyone needs to go and watch our FanSplash Comic Club. There's now 2 episodes up on the channel, and with all those things, hey, we're gonna start watching Man of Steel. Get watching. I don't know.
Get watching.
Started so we can start talking about the movie. I almost pressed the computer. That's not how you start the movie.
I feel left out not having my hat backwards. So
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
gonna join the
I
club.
forward, but I was like,
join the club.
Like
Did you guys not get the memo? I was pretty sure there was a memo.
It's not backwards.
Hey, where's your headache?
I mean,
There we go.
there's also there was a Superman memo, but I'm the only person that got that.
I mean, I went with Nemesis over here.
It'd be more acceptable if you had Nemesis.
I know. Only have volume.
I need
2.
volume. Speaking of volumes,
Or I guess issue 1.
wait, issue 1 of Nemesis?
Yeah, because I have issue 2. Because it was
You
like
found an
50
issue?
cents. Yeah, it was 50 cents, like in the on sale at Action City. That's all they had though.
Also, anybody that is in the chat or on the live stream or on Facebook or anything like that, let us know. And if the audio's good and the video's good, we need to know these things for streaming purposes. Plus, this is a new camera, same old mic, but look at the quality. That's pretty good. Webcam quality.
Are we streaming on Facebook and YouTube?
We are currently streaming on YouTube,
And
but
it's going to Facebook.
yes,
I guess.
it's shared onto Facebook, so
Sweet.
anybody can watch it on there. Having all this jibber jabber is kind of okay because it gives people the chance to find it and get on there. So
There we go.
we've been streaming for approximately 10 minutes here, and I think we're about to start the actual film. Turn off my background Hans Zimmer, and get into the real thing. Do you have a remote volume?
Yes. I was just following theater rules and silencing my cell phone.
Oh, I mean,
Please silence all cell phones.
yes.
Oh, yeah, that's not that high. We can get up to like 50.
Well, if you're gonna have a Hans Zimmer score, it's gotta go, you know. All right, Flash will be back in record time because of Speed Force. All right, guys, we are officially starting the movie. We just got the Warner Brothers logo. I feel like I'm gonna like have hype sweat, like that just nerdy, like sweaty, like excitement for a film.
I've got it right now.
It's the Under Armour dude.
I was gonna say it's the.
It happens
Under
every
Armour.
time I watch Man of Steel.
It's like-
It's just a given.
On my planet, this means sweat.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's not nice.
That's yeah.
Sweaty fan. All right, I'm. This is before DC changed their logo again.
You've not seen Men of
This is
Steel?
the first time they changed the logo.
Oh man.
Life changing. This will change your viewpoints on Superman. Hopefully for the better.
It's better than
Let's
Thomas
see.
Hall. Where the
I'm
hell
gonna
is Tyler?
share.
Tyler opted out of showing up today, so make sure to find him
and break him like the bat.
Break him.
Like,
just bane him over your knee.
Just ask him if he bleeds.
The shot is very misleading.
I already opened up with this and I was like, what is happening?
Alright, where is... How can I share?
How you share it? It's not on Comic Club.
Oh,
It's on the regular
wrong one.
FanSplash. Yep. What happened to Theater Protocol, Alex?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I
Meanwhile, I'm on my phone over here.
I thought
But
I silenced it. I think it's because I'm.
You're excused.
I'm trying to share it. Trying
There
to
you go.
help us here.
Has Krypton ever been cooler? I will argue that I started watching the Krypton show and it's pretty cool. That's a shout out to Bryce because I can only watch it at Bryce. I know who you are, Thomas. Obviously with the last name Hall. Just the build, the score. Throughout this entire movie, the score.
It's pretty awesome.
It's always building.
Better than Dark Knight.
It is, because I remember the score in this movie.
I said it.
So, well, actually, I don't know. This one,
We're 2 minutes in and it's already been said.
I'd have to say I prefer this over. Dark
This is
Knight.
actually my
I
favorite
do like
score.
those, but
Wait, when did this come out?
5 years ago.
5 years.
And I haven't watched it. You can watch it just 'cause I can.
Can I bump that a little more?
Yeah, go for it. Make it as loud as you want.
All right, how do we feel about Russell Crowe as Jor-El?
amazing.
Thank you.
Actually, great casting, better than Noah.
The costumes are awesome too, though.
Kryptonian Gladiator.
Yeah.
Which is ironic that he also does.
Spoiler alert. Some of us,
Spoiler
haven't,
alert.
some of us haven't seen Gladiator.
If you haven't seen Gladiator, that's not my fault.
So I was procrastinating way too hard on seeing Gladiator, and it was on Netflix, and I finally decided, okay, I'm going to watch it. And that was like almost the day they took it off Netflix. I was like, Michael Shannon.
Another great
So
casting choice, which I'm
underrated as Zod. Like,
So-
nobody brings him up as great comic book villains. Zod should be in the conversation. No, this is Sparta. And Feora is a G.
Fair is so good in this movie. I didn't even think it was possible after like what Superman 2, but
Everything is fine.
I just love the Kryptonian politics. Not the monster you've become.
I mean, forgot this, but
I will
I mean, you
stab
were
you in the
close,
throat.
you were close. I will find you.
Dude, he wrecks shop. I didn't know what that was. He's like gripped his rib. They never let Jor-El be a badass before this.
never. We knew nothing about it. Wait, I thought her name was Martha.
Get out.
The sequel, Alex versus Jesse.
Wait, what's your dad's name? Jonathan? Mine's Thomas! Dude, Teen Titans Go is so good.
I haven't seen it.
Teen Titans Go to the movies is a must watch.
It
Doesn't
is.
matter how you feel about the show.
If you love DC, you should see it. If you hate DC, you should see it. It's like it finds that balance.
And there's that unexpected cameo.
Yes. I will say Zack Snyder does utilize the zooms like JJ does the lens flares. It's a little excessive, but I allow it.
But it works, you know.
For the
things
scenes
this,
that
for
it
the
used
scenes,
to.
yeah.
Plus, like, especially like during this like whole scene, like it's definitely necessary because it's all the action.
And they're trying to do scope. They're like, look at this big shot of the area. Now we're coming in. We're coming in.
Mm-hmm.
I love how much Russell Crowe we actually get out of this movie. It's not just a, oh, here's a quick intro and then he's gone. Like,
Yeah.
it feels like it easily could have just been a Krypton movie.
I'd watch it.
That would be awesome. If
you're
we
gonna
got a
do
film like
prequels-
right up, like leading up to this,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be down for that.
Matrixy. I just love the whole concept of how everybody is manufactured until Kal-El.
Well, like the first one in like thousands of
Right.
years, yeah.
Which explains Zod, because everybody was designed with a purpose to be this one specific thing, and they were never given a choice. Zod never had a choice in what his design was.
Yeah, he was born to be a militant leader.
Yeah. And they didn't... Clark or Kal-El wasn't born designed to be something. There was just hope that he would be a bridge between worlds. Hashtag no. I like how we get this dragon for like 30 seconds and it gets its wing shot and you already feel sad for it. Oh, buddy.
See you guys.
It heavily reminds me of the ones from Avatar.
Oh yeah. I'd watch this movie 10 times before I watch Avatar again though.
I never watched Avatar.
Oh no, I still love Avatar.
It's okay, Dan. You're allowed to have opinions.
I've already seen Pocahontas a lot as a kid, and I
And
didn't.
Hey,
Ferngully?
nothing wrong with Pocahontas though.
And Ferngully,
And
and
Smurfs.
Rescuers Down Under, and
Only-
Smurfs.
Only during this watch party will it go from Man of Steel to Pocahontas.
To Smurfs.
To Smurfs, yeah.
Here we go.
Although I will say that like Pocahontas and Avatar have like the same exact storyline.
Thanks, Thomas, for letting us know that our YouTube videos are interesting. We try to keep them fun and entertaining, and hopefully it's not too distracting that we talk through this entire movie.
We will, yeah.
We
That's our
might
best
as well
way to-
just start quoting it as well so they can hear the dialogue.
Well, I'm afraid to now that you're
Yeah.
gonna like correct my this and that or whatever.
No, you had forgotten
Oh, I forgot a word.
this.
Yeah, my
This.
bad.
This.
So much is explained in this movie that people oversee. This doesn't make sense. Yeah, it does. They literally explain it in the movie. They explain why Superman is the way he is and how their bodies are designed to like absorb and be nourished by the sun's solar rays.
The radiation.
Yeah, and their sun is like old and dying, and Earth has a younger, brighter sun.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes more sense than in the comics. It was like you had red suns, blue suns, all that shit. This makes a lot more sense.
Well, I mean,
They're plants. Kryptonians are like plants.
photosynthesis.
Solar batteries. Here, I'll switch up spots. Newborn baby doesn't have that much hair.
Yeah. This scene felt so 300 like.
I
He's
wonder why.
Superman. He was born with all that hair. I mean,
He was born with pubic hair.
yeah. Get a little far now, but I mean, he's not like a human baby, so I mean,
He's
a
like a
little
half
different.
baby. Yeah, look at that.
super penis. Does anyone know what that's from?
No.
Maybe Deadpool, guys. Not the same blow. Super penis. Speaking of.
Speaking of the.
I just love that they basically inject like the history and future of Krypton into this child. Yeah. It's not just like, hey, carry on our legacy. It's literally, there's our legacy.
Yeah, it's not as much so as like a metaphor, but like
The
physically.
physical.
Yeah.
Mhm. Which makes it really cool though, and like adds that more like depth to it and like importance to Zod though. So it reminds me, I love that part when he's talking to the AI and he's like, "Tell me, do you still feel like?"
Yeah.
Fucking love that.
You have all his memories. Do you still feel his pain? I will rebuild Krypton atop his bones.
it looks like Apocalypse Now.
That's
coming in.
probably the idea.
Shane is on his way.
Nice, nice, nice.
You know how cool it'd be if it was like Batman versus Superman, where like Batman's got like the full metal armor, and then like Superman just busts out like his father's armor or something.
Oh, that'd be
That'd be so sweet. Like
he just totally gets his dad's like armor.
Yeah,
We were
that'd
talking
be
about that.
awesome.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture of like some armored Superman. There's a lot of, I'll bring it up more when they get to the Smallville fights, but there's a lot of subtle and not subtle undertones that this movie has, and there is a kind of the topic of Darwinism and like evolution versus faith that is addressed with the Feyre fight in Smallville. Which makes sense with Superman. I mean, whether you're religious or not, he was basically designed to be a Jesus Christ figure. Like that is kind of where the idea and ideals of him he came from. Yeah, his father sent him from the heavens down to earth to be the bridge between two people and be their savior. I mean, it's pretty black and white.
Yeah.
I just look at like that word entirely different now after like
Same.
getting the Warhammer.
Oh,
like, that's like the
I thought you were
most
because
commonly used word in Warhammer. Heresy.
Yeah, see, Alex.
That was weird. God?
God, Jesus, Superman.
It's your conscience speaking.
Yeah,
I know we
it's
haven't talked in a
speaking.
while.
I understood that reference.
Where's the restroom? Restroom.
You gotta jump the fence, do a flip, and then take a few steps forward to your left.
I'm not sure how good the flip is gonna be, but
Well, maybe you'll piss yourself upon landing.
You can just move the game out. But yeah, first one on the left.
Oh, did this get unplugged? Follow the rabbit hole. Oh, Dan, you're missing the best part. Oh, actually, not quite.
Is it just me, or does she kind of look like Marina Sirtis?
Who?
Deanna Troi from Star Trek: The Next Generation. He's so young.
Is it kind of me, or does she look like Kingpin's girlfriend in Daredevil?
No, oh, in the series?
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
Look at the betrayal. You see the betrayal in his eyes? Oh, it wasn't where I thought it was. Never mind.
No.
But still, we lost Jor.
were you thinking of the part where he's like being sentenced by the council?
Yeah.
I got you.
I was looking down for a second. That's what I get.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
We're matching.
This doesn't go well for them.
Spoiler alert.
Oh.
Alternative ending, it gets shot down. Just the
Yeah, like how it should have been.
Yeah.
I would love to have seen a live action version of Justice League Gods and Monsters. You should watch the animated movie. It's like an alternate take on the Justice League where it's General Zod's son is sent to Earth and he's raised by migrant workers. And then the Wonder Woman character is like a different, she's from Apocalypse, like Darkseid's planet. And Batman's actually a vampire. Like it's like a weird, just like alternate reality.
That would actually be. Is there like comic based on that, or just?
I think they made
live
comics after the
afterwards.
movie. Yeah,
I'll
they
have to watch.
made a short series that you can watch on YouTube, and then there's also the movie.
pay attention for this part.
Oh yes. I will find him, Laura.
I love too when everyone gets frozen, they all like make a face or like in pain, and he just like mans through it, just like so much anger.
He's just like slightly uncomfortable. He's like, it's very accepting. So Shannon, he just did so good. Just straight pissed.
Yeah, just.
All right. As somebody that loves this movie, can we address the dicks?
It makes like sense though. It's the shape, like it's aerodynamic. It has the larger base for the rockets. Like,
yeah,
you're just gonna make this whole movie about that. Like, look at that.
The whole movie's about
large flying. That's the underlying theme of Superman.
It's Jesus Christ and dicks. Like, if you guys didn't already know that, those are the two things that I love this movie way too much to be just saying this much shit. I feel like it's probably because I've spent 5 years praising every second of this film that like I'm trying to catch up.
The Phantom Zone.
It's so cool.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Like, what a cool way to do it.
And it doesn't even like really explain it or address it. It's just like there's a portal. And they're in there now and it's closed. It's like a gate. I wish we could have gotten more and done more with the armor. The battle armor.
I was kind of hoping that part, like when I first saw it, would be like foreshadowing, like showing it close up. Like maybe we'll see it later on open up, but no. I was seeing what it was like.
I can bring the mic a little bit closer.
Yeah, the quality is actually pretty good.
Yeah, it was an expensive camera. Okay. Such a good introduction to the movie. Like, at this point, you should already be in. Like, okay, let's go, Superman.
Yeah. I like how the gate for the Phantom Zone was even destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
secretly, that's actually just happening in the same universe in the same time as this happening.
Somewhere there should be a Supergirl ship going the other direction.
What is Supergirl?
His cousin. Yeah. Her name's Kara Zor-El. They were sent off Krypton at the same time, but she got bumped off course into a time like paradox thing, so that when she finally does make it to Earth, she hasn't aged at all.
yeah, she's like 30 years late.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense for the Supergirl.
Yeah, she's older than Superman, but in Earth's age, she looks way younger.
She was supposed to be his protector upon arriving at Earth.
Superman Deadliest Catch.
I love the irony. They would have bounced off him.
They don't know that he has superpowers though. Like,
He would have to play it off. You got some good Pokemon today? Got some good Pokemon? Nice.
You know, Jesse.
Well, I was also like right here. Greenhorn. Did I get that one right, Dan? Is that okay? Did I remember
I
that
mean,
one?
it was pretty close.
Yeah.
The voice could have been a little bit deeper, you know.
I remember, like, just at this point in the movie in theaters, I was just like leaning forward, just glued to it.
So,
And this is where all the women started clapping.
Ghost Rider.
Everyone say hi, Julie.
Oh, it's up there.
I was looking down here. I was like,
Trust
what?
me, that's what I was doing for like the first
I
10
was
minutes. I was
looking
like,
at the screen. I was like, I'm looking downwards. So I'm
There's no
Yeah,
down there.
it's a little confusing at first. All of us are just looking down at this camera.
She's about 2 seconds from having her eyes fixed on Henry Cavill.
Oh, she doesn't like chest hair.
It's okay. Oh, no, he doesn't. I was going to say he shaves later, but he doesn't shave his chest hair.
We don't know. I mean, it's covered.
Actually, it's not because it pops out of his
pops
little...
out of his
It's
I
very
didn't even-
distracting.
Oh.
It's one of the things like... Yeah, you don't have to shave your chest, but if you can just shave that little bit that's poking out right there, it'd be solid.
I mean, I guess it's no worse than the mustache from...
Go home, Dan. We don't speak of that here.
I liked the movie, but it was just horrible. I mean...
The mustache was... Mustache gate? Is that
Yeah,
what it's
exactly.
called?
Yeah.
DC's biggest conspiracy in 75 years of existence.
Mustache gate.
And I like how they sprinkle in the flashbacks instead of just spending like
A long
40
time.
minutes. Yeah.
It's just blended and done really well.
And they really put you in his shoes. Like, how terrifying would this be?
I mean, the X-ray vision, like, is the first.
Mm-hmm.
Puberty sucked for him.
I mean, being a like normal kid and having like your first anxiety or like form of anxiety is terrifying. Let alone like to this level. Like, although I'm surprised he can't run faster.
Not to be like super off topic, but like this kind of scene is what like some of the X-Men movies should have focused on more. The like pubescent like terror of like these evolving powers.
I mean, they kind of did this with Cyclops.
Yeah.
I think he's really the only one who got it with.
Dun dun. Boom boom.
That'd be kind of cool. Just like, you know, pass
Aquaman.
out, taking a. That would have been like such a cool little reference or something.
I think they need to retro it so Ocean Master attacked that oil rig.
That'd be kind of a cool way to like tie in everything, just
Yeah.
subtly.
Well, right now we have no idea what happened to the oil rig.
Yeah,
No,
that is
we
true.
don't know why it's all of a sudden like. I mean, there's things that can make that happen, but it's DC Universe. Make a tie-in. And the second moment that the girls lost it. It's the only reason my sister watches this movie.
Half naked Henry Cavill in the rain.
I mean, if you can't have like some level of like metrosexual man crush on this man, like, I think you're uncomfortable with your
It's
sexuality.
yeah, I was gonna say it's okay to be comfortable with your sexuality. Although I'm kind of questioning who just has nice, clean, folded clothes in the back of their car
And
with some groceries and
construction
beer.
workers, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe.
Just have back on clothes.
I mean, I guess it is better than him running up and just getting clothes off the clothesline.
They
they were there, but
they casted Clark so well at the different stages of his life.
As in, like a lot of movies, they don't really look similar at all, which is kind of odd considering the fact that you have all these casting options.
Upon my 30th watching of this movie, I do realize that it was almost odd that they put the two flashbacks like only like 30 seconds apart. Like it was basically flashback, show him grabbing clothes, and then flashback. They just butted them together.
Well, I feel like it's kind of a good way to have them closer though, so that way it like further and like quickly develops, showing that he has these powers and why he's just doing these weird jobs, trying to like be away from. I guess not civilization, but.
No, that's a good point.
I don't get how this is like a superpower or anything. Like, who hasn't done this? Push your glass out of the water. No,
I mean, I did it in first grade.
Yeah, he's in like what, 6th grade? Come on.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And does anyone know who that girl is?
No.
Lana Lang. Yeah.
Who?
I thought you were talking about the actress.
The character's Lana Lang.
His small little crush.
Before I was at Amy Adams. Before Lois Lane, there was Lana Lang. I just think they're both Lanes, but it's Lang. It's too close.
He saw what Clark did.
I know he did. Sure what he thought he saw.
It was an act of God, Jonathan. This was providence.
Back to the thing of God.
Kansas.
I think you're blowing it a little out.
And I like, despite everything that happens, that Clark himself still like values Christian beliefs and sees himself like as a Christian. The first thing he does when Zod shows up is go to a church and talk to a priest. Oh, the first controversial moment of the movie that everyone likes to talk about.
I know you did.
Jonathan's advice.
Right? Right? We talked about this. You have, Clark, you have to keep this side of yourself a secret.
What was I supposed to do? Just let him die?
It's like the plot for Frozen.
There's more at stake.
Or Love Simon.
Lives, Clark, and the lives of those around us. When the world finds out what you can do, it's going to change everything. Our beliefs, our notions of what it means to be human, everything. You saw how people Mom reacted, right? She was scared of Clark.
Why?
People are afraid of what they don't understand.
See what I mean? Like,
Is she right?
the only other like casting I could imagine instead of Kevin Costner would be Dennis Quaid.
Tell me.
Be the exact same though.
Oh, I love this scene. Probably hear me say that way too much.
I feel like we're going to be saying that a lot.
Yeah.
throughout.
Oh, I love this.
There's just a lot
And
of
then
great
this.
scenes, though.
We were sure the government was going to show up at our doorstep. No one ever came.
It gets me in the heart every time. Can't I just keep pretending I'm your son? You are my son.
I took her to a metallurgist at Kansas State. He said whatever it was made from didn't even exist on the periodic table. It's another way of saying that it's not from this world, Clark. And neither are you.
Bang,
You're
bang.
the answer, son. You're the answer to our
The doggo.
universe.
I don't want to be.
And I don't blame you, son. Being a huge burden
How many people do we got watching?
Last I checked was looks like Tyler's little brother's here. But all right, guys, we've completed the group. We now have Shane. What's up, Shane? Are you treating the Hellboy Pop well?
Yes. It doesn't fit in my display case though, which is sad. None of the horned ones do. If they didn't put the crown on them, it would be fine. But
The crown is too tall.
Yep.
And we're gonna adjust the camera a little bit. Just get everybody in here. Save the spot.
I love this scene. I feel like this is kind of foreshadowing for the ending, though.
A little bit.
Kind of showing that he is capable of losing it and
But
taking
he
some extreme
still
measures.
lost it with elegance. Instead
Oh,
of
yeah.
knocking that guy through a wall. he's
Oh
like,
yeah,
I'm just gonna-
not like he physically attacked him. That's why I feel like it's
Push a little more. What?
Push
Oh,
him.
dog.
No.
Dog. Push. 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 Push.
that's why I feel like it's really good foreshadowing. So
Yeah,
it
still
doesn't
want-
like
yeah, a little more.
fully give away what he might do. What are you doing?
You think you can threaten my mother? Right?
Hey, Genji. Genji.
Hey. No teeth. Oh my god, you guys are finally noticing me?
That's like,
Oh, he's gonna start tearing
Oh.
stuff down.
oh.
Genji.
That's probably how I lost my charger the first time.
Let's see if we can move it just a little bit.
Stay off the
What's
couch.
up?
Move the camera just a little bit more.
Towards that way?
We're just
I'm down.
missing.
I know you're excited.
So I'm only gonna be staying until probably like 7-ish.
But you need to calm down.
There we go. That should be good. That way, like pretty much fully framed. Everyone's in the frame now.
Hey, Dan.
Now it's a party.
Grab that white tube.
The what?
White tube. You're right.
Oh,
Is that the new Hogwarts?
Yeah, it is.
That's just doesn't have to work.
Yeah, Marvin's not finished it yet.
Well, that's a lot better than the one I got when I was a kid.
Ooh, we get to have a lot of reaction to birthday presents. I clapped. I was just like,
I already know what it is.
Oh yeah.
I did one at the front scene.
Yeah. You know what? I was judging somebody so hard. They posted on Facebook. And it was like behind the scenes picture of that truck, but it wasn't somebody that had ever seen this movie, right? And they just put, "How the fuck did this happen?" And I was like, and I put Superman, and they're like, "That's stupid." I was like, "No, it's from Man of Steel, you twat."
People will post anything to get a reaction now.
Being so careful.
I don't want anything to happen to it.
love that part when he just like suddenly lifts her out and just starts to see coming.
And then look like how easily he's carrying like the giant things of luggage in the background too. I like how they don't even address that he's like really there.
Well, these things are way bigger than I thought it would be.
That's a fail.
Careful, they're heavy. He's like, oh, they're
That's
heavy.
so cool.
Okay. Hey, show the audience, even though it's not Man of Steel related. It's your Hellboy.
That was pretty cool.
Now I need to get. I'm gonna have to get a new one to go with this.
Keep it
Oh,
from
to keep
everything.
everything symmetrical.
No crinkles.
I don't. This poster is made out of the weirdest material ever.
Yeah, teaser posters are usually super glossy.
Not used to that. Thanks, dude.
All right, quick. He's from Law and Order.
There's so many.
I know which one it is, but I'm not gonna say anything because I'm the only girl here. So we're just
I know what it is, not because it's the only one I ever watched.
Yeah, so we're not.
Is that the?
See?
That's
That's
not Criminal
dicks.
Minds.
No,
I told you it's all
That's
about dicks and Jesus.
all it is.
SVU.
See?
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, that's
Sorry.
like the only one that I really know.
I was tired of waiting. I want to get back to the movie. You know what's really upsetting is that they had a comic that led up to this movie that explained where that ship came from and what the open pod was in it. And then they never addressed it so far in the rest of the DC universe. But they now say they're doing a Supergirl movie. in the prequel comic, because they talk about all the scout ships they sent out, right? Kara Zor-El, his cousin, Supergirl, was on like one of the first sets of scout ships, and she crash landed on Earth, but we don't know where she's been. Like that open pod, you see a bunch of skeletons in one open pod, and it was her pod, and that's her ship. Product placement.
There's so much that's happening.
But nothing that interests me.
Tomorrow.
I'm not gonna get one.
Oh, you said hentai.
Yeah, not hentai.
Yeah, I was like, getting what? Who?
Papa.
Let me know when 4th gen hits and I can get the 4th gen ghost types. That's all I care about.
So, did you watch some of the DC streaming?
I watched like 5 minutes of it, but someone in my house didn't want to listen to it while I was watching it, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm the only one in my house that cares about any of this stuff, so.
Me too.
You probably know how.
But I guess I watched it when everyone was still sleeping, because I was like up early and I was like.
Yeah, I haven't had the time yet because I got up pretty early to go to work.
Let me say this. Considering the fact that when you do the math, it's only like $6 a month because you pay up front for 15 months.
Yeah,
like $75.
If you're outside of that, it's like $8 a month. You're getting a lot. I would be willing to pay just that.
If there was no new content, I would still get it.
Yeah, just to be able to watch
there's Outsiders, and I will watch some of Titans just to see what I think.
I will watch it just to see if it's better than what the trailer portrays, but I'm not.
Because maybe the writing is better than Fuck Batman.
Yeah, the whole Fuck Batman thing, and just the way that it looks a little too grungy for my taste. But
Man of Steel / DC talk.
Well, when are we not talking about DC?
It is kind of DC.
It is. No, it's DC.
So did they tell you what all was going to be streaming on there? Because you said something about
literally everything. Like say a DC property. Yeah.
And
they said if it's not there on launch, it will be. Like there's some things that are going to take a while because they're kind of acquiring them from but
I would love to go back and rewatch Batman Beyond.
That will be on there. I'm pretty sure at launch. I know the original Batman animated is there on launch.
Mm-hmm. Well, they kind of they're going to do the first 2 seasons just to get people to buy the remaster that's coming out.
Oh, and everything that's coming back on there is HD. Like they have OG Wonder Woman HD.
Nice. Yeah, I'm also excited to see what comics they put up on there. Because for $8 a month, I can watch all this stuff and read comics.
That's my point. Like on my TV, I can read DC Comics.
Mm-hmm.
That's the money right there. Yeah.
I'll probably never do that. But...
Oh, I will. I'll take the ones I've already bought, and instead of reading them in my hands, I'll just blow them up and
That's fair. I guess I do have a TV in my music room.
I do feel bad for the comic shops though, because most of my collection is DC, so there's gonna be a lot less things that I'm gonna need to get.
See, I've been trying to hop on the digital comic thing, but it's just so much nicer to have it in my hand.
It is.
I've read a few volumes on there, but I just blew through them so fast, I didn't appreciate it as much.
Well, maybe I'll maybe there's an issue on there, right? And I'll read the first issue. I like that. I'll get the volume next time I'm out in the store.
Yeah, I just read the first 2 volumes of Abe Sapien before I jumped into the omnibus that I was reading, and it's cool that I was able to read it for free because I have a Comixology trial going on, but I blew through them in
so Supergirl.
a couple hours.
You gonna just leave that open? It's all right. It's upsetting. Fucked.
I feel like that would kill you though. Just completely
Well, she had hemorrhaging, so she was dying. Would have died.
I feel like just the initial impact.
Man, it's been a long time since I've seen this movie.
There's this smile, this reassuring smile that he gives her, that just captures Superman to me. This chill, that.
This is smart.
Yeah.
That's the don't freak out. You're gonna be fine. Look.
That is the perfect casting shot to me. Secretly, she liked him a lot. Hey guys, do we have enough body heat in this room?
No.
Okay, good.
I mean, it's not as hot as it was the last time we were here. And I mean, this is better than it being freezing cold. So you know.
I'd take some of that snow right now.
Agreed. But if we were like watching this while it was snowing outside here, this room would be like 10 degrees colder than it is outside.
Truth.
I'm happy we're doing all this. I like the entrance of fall. Because being a winter.
We were talking about how like this is like one of our like favorite scores. And I like that the movie actually gives you time to appreciate the score, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's like
I
plays so
feel like
good.
all of the DC movies so far have done that for the most part. Like they give the score room to breathe.
Like you know Wonder Woman's theme
Oh yeah.
because they let you know that it's Wonder Woman's theme.
Oh, it's so loud every time it comes in. They definitely took cues to like the response to the Nolan trilogy scores. But they hired the same guy, so.
I think it's cool that Hans is coming back for Wonder Woman too, because he didn't solely do the first Wonder Woman.
Yeah, well, he also did the whole thing where he wasn't going to do another superhero movie.
Right. That's the whole reason why we reported on the podcast.
Yeah, it's a pretty good deal. But I feel like he has such a big resume at this point where he can kind of pick whatever he wants. He knows he wants to do Wonder Woman. He knows he wants to be a part of that big franchise again. Like there are people who don't care about movie scores who knows that guy's name, so he has the ability to do whatever he wants.
If you've ever seen a movie, you have to know John Williams and Hans Zimmer. Like,
Yeah,
I would kind of argue Elfman too.
Oh, yes.
Elfman to a certain degree.
John Williams doing the Lion King.
Alex, I need you to just leave. Just stop.
Didn't you once describe my site as a creeping cancer of all sorts?
All right, guys, what's the next watch party? Just the people at home know.
I mean, dude, I actually still enjoy watching that movie. It's not like
BVS happens first, though. If we're
What
going
movie?
order. Oh, he said Suicide Squad.
I was joking. I like choked on my saliva as I said it.
I don't.
I'd be absent for that one.
I honestly don't watch that movie for any sort of substance. It's just cool to see those people on screen.
And next one's gonna be Teen Titans Go to the movies because that was the next
When's
one.
that on DVD? Because I'll watch party the shit out of Teen Titans Go.
I mean, it'll probably be out on digital before it's on DVD. It'll probably be a few more months too. But yeah, I'm down. Even though I can't stand how it's animated.
For the sake of the movie, it's okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, theoretically, I guess the next movie would be BVS, unless we're trying to do some.
I have the
stuff.
Ultimate Edition,
So
and
do I.
like I'd watch it.
I let him borrow it. Did
But
I let
we
you
want-
borrow it?
we want
Ultimate
viewers.
Edition? Yeah.
That's the only problem with BVS.
Hey, I like that movie.
I do too, ish.
My favorite problem with BVS is the Jolly Director scene.
That scene still throws me off to this day.
You hear that? Alexa forcing the Jolly Rancher to the dude.
Like unwrapping it and then like
That was a submission technique. He's like, "You're my bitch, and you're not gonna do anything about it."
that's fair.
The casting for
We did
Lex
talk about
Luthor though was just
Yeah. Well, it's
See,
like
just not talking
that was
about that.
he was basically putting that guy under his thumb. He was just being weird for the sake of like he could because he knew that guy just would just.
Do everything that he wanted.
Kids watch.
Children watch
I-
what Thomas.
I feel
Still.
like the casting for Lex, they totally miscast him. He totally could have been a Riddler, and we
Yeah.
totally could have had a Riddler in this current DC continuity, and that would have been great.
If Riddler was like the leading antagonist for BVS, I think a lot of people still would have been like questioning it, but like,
It's
okay,
Riddler.
this is kind of working.
I feel like Jesse Eisenberg, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
I always forget his name. He would be the only guy that I think could outdo Jim Carrey as the Riddler.
I think retroactively, and I was kind of hoping they were going to do this, but the Justice League kind of solidified that this is our Lex, is that he talks about his dad multiple times, but he never confirms that his dad is dead, and his dad is Lex Luthor Sr., and he's Lex Luthor Jr. I'm like, so there's another Lex out there, so can we have that one? And then at the end of Justice League, we have Bald Eisenberg, and I'm like, okay, so we're not getting Lex Sr.
Well, and I feel like him like being bald, like he looks the part a lot better by it.
I think in Justice League, he toned down the overacting a lot to the point where it was like passable.
Well, he probably is like, I got to put these pieces into place to become like the most important person on the planet again. I can't do this crazy for the sake of crazy.
Yeah, and what's upsetting is the fact that he not only went to prison, but he's now an escaped convict, which means like he can never be president. We can never get the Lex Luthor president storyline.
You don't know that. Come on.
It wouldn't be believable.
There are people that are in office that have done worse things. I'm not going to name any names, but come on. I didn't say it.
We're reaching all the points in this.
I feel like I opened that up for you to just.
That's true.
Here's your platform.
I mean, I'm not going to bring politics that hardcore into this, but I mean, it still could happen. But
I mean,
I don't think it'll ever get that far.
We're not naming Trump. I mean, naming names. Just.
I feel like for most of us, it's probably pretty clear where we all lie as far as that goes.
I think it's interesting that it's kind of like unanimous. So I finally had to explain this to myself because everyone's like, "Well, that's kind of convenient," and I was like, then I just realized it's a super high-tech like spaceship that like is self-operating and has all this technology and stuff. It can.
Isn't it like its own living entity, pretty much?
Yeah.
Ship? Like,
So the idea of it making a suit is not actually that
far-fetched.
mind-blowing.
I mean, come on. I'm drawing a blank on his name from Justice League, the villain. Steppenwolf, wasn't he like created inside of it just as?
No.
No.
You mean Doomsday?
Doomsday.
Yeah.
Doomsday was created inside
But
it.
and like the deleted scenes on the
XYZ.
Ultimate Edition, what didn't it show Steppenwolf inside of the ship?
What?
Didn't it show Steppenwolf inside of the ship in the deleted scenes?
Oh, well, it was a hologram. Like it was, he was
okay.
communicating to Lex.
But it was in the same chamber that Doomsday was
right.
made in,
Yep.
so I guess that's where I made that connection.
Okay, guys, best scene, in my opinion.
A sun that's younger and brighter than Rapunzel's.
Just the monologue,
The cells have drunk in its radiation.
cinematography, music,
Strengthening your muscles, skin, senses.
that suit.
Earth's gravity is weaker, yet its atmosphere is more nourishing. You've grown stronger here than I ever could have imagined. The only way to know how strong is to keep testing your limits.
Every time I watch this movie, I get more mad. See, you can see chest hair. I get more mad at the DC universe as a whole. I'm like, why couldn't you just follow in the footsteps of this movie? You casted so well.
Well,
because
the
I-
storyline so
It's
well.
such a good opening just to fall apart.
Well, there was a lot of other things that happened, but also to me, this is like the story of him becoming Superman. So I don't think his character was ever meant to stay the same as it is in this movie, and the vibe was never meant to stay the same. You know?
With both Justice League and BVS, there was so many things that were great ideas or directions for them to go that they either didn't leave time to breathe or fully flesh out the idea before they moved on to introducing other ideas or going other directions.
What they really should have done, I mean, this upsets me as a Batman fan, but it literally should have been like Man of Steel and then like Man of Steel 2.
Oh,
Batman
you mean
versus
Marvel?
Superman. Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, like
They should have just kept it more focused on like a singular character and introduced the other ones, because BVS totally could have been Man of Steel 2 if it became more Superman centric. And
they
then
could have
Justice
done.
League totally
They could have done a Batman / Superman instead of a Batman v Superman. We weren't ready for Batman v Superman because there was no prior interaction. The reason Dark Knight Returns is such a big deal and that confrontation is such a big deal is because they'd known each other for 30 years.
Well, and it was Batman coming out of retirement and
Right.
going rogue essentially, and
Superman being the presidential Boy Scout
Yeah.
at that point. Which, in this universe, he is far from the presidential Boy Scout. He says, "Get your satellites the fuck out of my area." Also, I was watching Cinema Sins, and the part where he zips down through Africa, he's like, "Superman's addicted to animals."
So I know this is a hot topic currently because of the whole Ben Affleck rehab thing.
Yeah.
Do you think we're gonna see him as Batman again?
There was an article I just saw about something about insurance. We need more of him.
I
Because I
agree.
feel it's going to become like
really do need
Spider-Man,
more.
where we just jump around and keep getting all these Batmans and none of
Well,
them stick.
It's hard if they recast him in the same universe, though. Every time we've got a new Spider-Man, it's been a new telling.
Unless they somehow retcon him as Batman, like they do the Batman Beyond thing, they need to keep that.
Or they bring in like Battlefield Cowl
Or they introduce a Dick Grayson to take over.
Or tear the
they're
Well, because Dick Grayson takes over when Batman's presumed dead for a while.
But we didn't get the problem is we didn't get enough Bruce before passing the mantle on.
That's true.
But in Justice League, he was already saying yeah, I'm too old for this. I was like, why do we have to start with that Batman? I love Ben as Batman, but it should have been 5 years from now or something. We got a Ben Affleck Batman, not right now.
I wish that they do more with him as Batman. He deserves it. And
He deserves at least
we
one.
deserve it as fans.
He deserves at least one Batman movie.
Yeah.
Give him one to be here's my definitive Batman.
Deathstroke. Let that movie that was supposed to happen.
Why
I
can't
want to see that.
I want the Ben
Who
Affleck.
would they cast as Deathstroke?
They already cast him.
cast him.
Really?
He was at the end of Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
I completely
Did you
There's
not
the-
watch the end credits?
I guess I didn't. Well, also at the same time, I probably didn't really pay attention because I wasn't really
was
into
Joe-
Deathstroke as I am now.
Joe Manganiello. He I don't know how to actually pronounce his
I don't
name,
know how to
but
pronounce it.
he's in the full Deathstroke
He
guard.
was from Magic Mike.
He's also in True Blood.
Flash or not Flash? I'm sorry. He played Flash Thompson in Spider-Man.
Yeah, in the original Spider-Man.
Because he's a really tall.
He looked great as
tall
Deathstroke
guy,
too.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, he definitely looks like it.
You looked it up.
Yeah, I just looked up on IMDb.
The only person I thought.
Did you look at him in the costume?
Mm-hmm.
Was him. Danny Bennett is so good
Oh,
as Slade Wilson.
Oh yeah,
Just for him to come in and be like us being.
that's the post-credit scene of Justice League.
I love the armor too. It's New
They should make
52.
that a
yeah.
thing. But I feel like if they do that, they should bring in a Nightwing.
Another
Or they're going, at least having a Robin if you're not
Yeah.
bringing Slade.
controversy number 2.
That'd be great.
Just give us Damien right away.
Mhm.
Ooh, that's a jump though.
Well,
If
yeah,
you got this old a
I was gonna say
Batman,
Batman's already this old.
Oh,
Bring in
that's true.
Jason. Bring in Tim.
do
bring
Bat
in
Blood the movie.
Damien. Yeah. Bring in all of them.
I feel like that might be overwhelming to a lot of people though.
I support Zack Snyder, but he pissed me off a couple weeks ago. Did you hear about his Robin tweet?
No.
People were asking him about the Robin suit in.
I thought it was already confirmed that was Jason Todd,
No,
Robin.
Dick Grayson.
Yeah,
It was
according
Dick
to
Grayson?
Zack Snyder, it was Dick Grayson. I was like,
Grayson.
That's not right.
I was like, sit down, Zack. Stop. Shh.
I feel like at this point, Zach's just trying to stay relevant in the DCU.
I think it's twofold. I think he's got so burnt on it because he said he never watched Justice League. He got
I
so
don't blame
burnt
him.
on it. I think he's been trying to retroactively fuck up the DC universe because he's so salty, and I don't really blame him.
At this point, at this point, DC has already fucked themselves enough that anything else he does is just salt in the wound at this point.
I wish we could kind of just restart and just go back to this and go from here.
Right?
Except for Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman.
Yeah, okay.
But Wonder Woman could
and
still
this.
be on its own. You don't
Sure.
have to redo Wonder Woman because it was so long ago.
Well, it was so separate from everything.
Right.
But yeah,
He just rotated his whole body.
keep the intro movies, keep Man of Steel,
Mhm.
keep Wonder Woman, keep
yeah.
the upcoming Aquaman
Probably
movie,
Shazam.
and then just restart the
I
team.
think without having to completely restart, if they just don't do a group movie for another 5 years and then do a Justice League movie, we can forget about the other stuff and be because
Well,
the casting is still good.
A lot of people that I respect in the comic book world, they have all been saying that they literally need to shelve Batman for a while let all these other characters breathe and do their own things without Batman, and that pains me to say. But I kind of agree.
What you could do,
Kind of a good way to get everyone to fall in love with the DC universe.
Well,
though, and
because
then bring
Green
in
Lantern-
Batman to really do
I
well.
feel like the only reason why BVS was BVS is because they knew that Batman being in the name, it would immediately bring a whole new fan base that wasn't watching Man of Steel.
absolutely.
They could just use that to capitalize on
I
it.
mean, BVS still is the highest grossing DC film since Man of Steel. But yeah,
They should just keep the solo
Justice League's the
origin.
least grossing, which is like just breaks
Well,
my
and
heart.
it's funny that people always talk about it being like the least grossing, but it still made a shit ton of money.
But it also cost more than 2 times more than any of the other movies because they had to film it twice almost. Solo style.
That's true, but it still made a shit ton of money. Didn't they recoup their money?
Barely.
Curious.
Yeah, like they did a little more than break even.
And I mean, with these kind of movies, you never really know.
Justice League should have been a printing $1 billion. It's like
I don't
the
necessarily.
first
agree with
Avengers
that.
was 1.4, 1.6 billion.
But you got to think about the groundwork that was laid before it.
That's my point.
That's also the point. Well, here's something we discussed earlier too. Iron Man 1 was great. It set the foundation for Marvel.
But we like
Man of Steel was better. Can you imagine if we literally just had that same setup?
Well, DC would have never had that because they didn't have somebody at the top of the mountain.
There was no
They
fighting.
didn't have a fighting. It's exactly that.
And they've tried to have a Feige like 3 different times since it started. First, they brought in Jeff Johns. But-
he just said that.
Well, yeah,
Well, he
Warner
stepped
Brothers.
down after all of the Justice League shit.
That and Warner Brothers ran over him because he's not a executive producer. Like he's not a film person,
and-
you know.
Also, DC will never happen the same way Marvel did because Marvel Studios started separate of a giant entity.
Right.
DC is already a part of a giant entity. That giant entity will always want them to make money, not lay this fantastic groundwork.
There is no DC Studios.
Exactly.
Warner Brothers owns the DC properties, and Warner Brothers is making the movies. Whereas Disney owns Marvel Studios, but Marvel Studios is making the movies. Yeah. So this just turned into a podcast, makeshift podcast. But
I mean, it's not like they're
I feel like
seeing
that
the
was gonna
movie.
happen anyway.
But,
Yeah.
yeah.
But we are doing post the film. We will be doing a little Man of Steel discussion. So if you don't feel like you're getting your Man of Steel discussion here, it's coming, and we have
Hey, let's
questions
put
on top.
truck. Just point that out.
Yep, and then there's also one at the end fight, plus one at the on top of the building. There's 3 Lexes,
Well, I was gonna say the LexCorp building gets destroyed.
and then there's a like
MK versus DC.
not a cement mixing truck, but like a propane tank or something that says LexCorp on it.
I didn't realize those were in 2.
You didn't know that was happening,
Dude, I noticed, and I
Oh,
was gonna say something while
I thought you were
was
just doing
Alex
the
is just
thing.
being Alex.
Yeah.
No.
And I thought this was really interesting. Where like it's never really addressed. She says like when they got him, he couldn't breathe. Like they didn't think he was going to survive or make it because he was trying to adapt to the oxygen, or the atmosphere, which is foreshadowing to when he's on Zod's ship puking up blood. And she has one of the most honest like mom responses to like not knowing how to take in. He's like, I found my people.
They casted really well.
She was perfectly casted.
Mhm.
I'm happy that we get her.
Wait, what's her name again?
I don't know her name.
No, the character.
Oh,
Martha.
Why do you say that name?
that was pretty ridiculous. I feel like
I'm glad we've gotten her in 3 years.
yeah.
that scene, and I understand why people make fun of it so much because it sticks out like the sorest thumb in that movie. Because there's so many things that actually do work in that movie, especially the Ultimate Edition.
Mhm.
That you get to that and you're like, okay, Ben, you're better than this. Henry, whatever you're doing, you're better than this.
Well,
Like,
I feel like the reason why Batman reacted the way that he did is because he was already going so crazy because he was like, I need to kill this alien. And
Right.
he was like, I'm putting up the fight of my life to try and do this. And then something like brings him back to like his human
I wish they
form.
just would have done it like I don't know, tweaked it a little bit, like just a pause.
Oh,
You know
like
yeah.
a what?
That entire movie, that Batman should have just been Lex Luthor.
Oh, just Lex versus
Lex versus. Because honestly, I mean, building his muscles, he wanted to be the peak of human perfection.
That was not that Lex though.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like that
We
whole
we
movie,
needed all-star
what-
Lex.
Yeah, what we got as Batman, we should have gotten as Lex.
That's fair.
Like,
I feel like the only reason why Lex was having them fight each other was because he needed them to be cleaned off the board.
And Doomsday and Wonder Woman needed to get the fuck out of that movie. Like, it was just way too much.
Doomsday got shoehorned in, and Wonder Woman was there, but they didn't. Yeah, they didn't necessarily need it.
we needed Robin.
I think I would have been okay with the Diana scene where she meets Bruce,
Yeah.
but I didn't need Wonder Woman in the movie. Like, I liked her
Wonder
character being
Woman
introduced.
wouldn't have needed to be in that movie if it wasn't for Doomsday.
Exactly. So if you get Doomsday out, then you don't.
They
need...
literally could have thrown her in there as like this person that pops up and you're like, who the hell is that? And then they come out with a Wonder Woman movie. And it probably would have had way more impact.
Oh,
I
the
can't
animated.
get over the.
Wait, I forgot. Were you here?
Yeah.
Yeah, you watched the Death of Superman.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was here.
Squash Cop.
Yeah.
Cop Jelly.
That whole movie was crazy.
That Doomsday was savage, and that fight that went on for like 25 minutes. That was sick.
But yeah, if they would have handled BVS a little bit better and not have had it end with Doomsday, because that just like whole last part of the movie didn't necessarily need to be
The
there.
death of Superman should not happen in a crossover movie. I mean, I get in the comics.
Unless it was the like reason behind it from the beginning.
Sure.
The death of Superman part is like the last 30 minutes of that movie. 30 to, I guess, an hour depending on
This was
which
so cool.
version you're
Yeah.
watching. But
When it's different
Especially when it
languages.
shows. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna say all the languages, but I just love Zod.
So
I really
much.
want a Zod statue.
The ring.
No,
I remember
it
thinking this
felt
was-
like that.
it was creepy.
It was marketing material that
Yeah.
they did for this movie, actually.
No, seriously, this looks straight like a ring.
No, this was actually creepy the first time watching this, though. I mean, it's still creepy, but like first time watching this, I was like, did this just turn into like a horror movie or something? Like,
I love it.
So I see some girl crawling out from the TV of this water everywhere.
you
Did
say
you
that like the
watch
lights
The
just go out
Rings?
here. Like, so-
No.
I haven't seen or met anyone that's watched it.
What?
What? The Rings movie, where I think was it a reboot or was it a continuation?
It was a continuation. Yeah.
I never really got into those.
I was never really into.
I don't think
either.
I've really seen the first one.
I only
Just
saw the
bits on
second one, and I didn't
TV.
think it was scary at all.
Those movies, The Ring, The Grudge, movies like that. I was never really into.
I
Not
feel
my
like
style of horror.
They're not really scary. It's movies you have to get yourself into. It's kind of like the Blair Witch. Like, it's not scary at all. But if you put yourself like kind of in that mindset, like it's horrifying. But
I think if you watch like the actual original version of it in its actual true form, then it's more terrifying because it's something that's from the country that it was brought from.
Yeah.
But then when you bring it to somewhere that is a remake of it, and then
Oh, I'm
it's
sure. I'm
something
sure.
that's
I'm
not-
sure the
that's
original
not
like.
in America's.
Yeah, I'm sure the original ones from their country of
Yeah,
origin
so
were way
that's
more
scary.
terrifying.
it's literally like Quarantine. Like Quarantine's not very good at all. But
I
Wreck
haven't-
is
I
like
haven't
in my
seen that
top
one.
20. Like, I love Wreck. It's just way more brutal.
I think that a lot of people give Marvel a lot of credit because they have all these subgenres of movies. Like Winter Soldier is a political thriller, Guardians of the Galaxy is a space opera. Man of Steel doesn't get enough credit for being a sci-fi film first. It's like a sci-fi film with superhero undertones.
It's a sci-fi drama.
Yeah.
I feel like anything with Superman attached to it should immediately be labeled as sci-fi because he is not human.
Right.
And they don't ever.
But like Superman Returns, I wouldn't consider that a sci-fi. It was a Superman superhero movie. Like there's nothing that really felt sci-fi about it. This feels like Interstellar superhero movie.
Interstellar is amazing.
Hardly know anything about him, isn't that right? If he truly means us no harm, then he'll turn himself into his people and face the consequences. And if he won't do that, then maybe we should. The Daily Planet's Lois Lane.
I always crack up at that. Like somebody actually trying to forcefully turn him in.
Are you watching this crap? I've been running all morning. Once I actually agree with Woodburn, now have you seen him? Do you know where he is?
No. And even if I did, I wouldn't say.
The entire
I also love that it took Lois like what 40 minutes of the movie to figure out who he was.
all about journalistic integrity. This is serious, Lois. The FBI is here. They're doing
watching Death of Superman, we talked about the whole like secret identity thing. It's so dumb. But whatever. Yeah, his alter ego that is him with glasses.
It makes sense that everybody knows him personally in this universe and knows that he's Superman, and then that
because that's real,
right? And the only reason that he still has an alternate identity is because like most people just out randomly aren't going to see Superman and know Clark at the same time.
Yeah.
Jesus. You know, he had plenty of time to go walk.
Yeah.
Why was he even in
Oh, he's just hanging out down
He
the street.
oddly looks like the dude from Smallville.
Oh, like he grew up to be Tom Welling?
Yeah.
He really does.
Tom Welling was a really good Clark Kent too.
Yeah. I remember watching that show a lot.
Smallville has the same problem Gotham does, where it's like, let's cover the entirety of Superman's existence before he's Superman, and Gotham's doing that with Batman villains before Batman, and it's too
Gotham was based on, wasn't there a GCPD comic series?
There was, and I think is. Like,
I don't know if it's still going on, but I think that's where they got the inspiration for it.
And the idea works, but that show wasn't, or that comic wasn't about all these villains.
Yeah.
It was about Gordon and the GCPD doing
But
crime.
one thing I appreciate about the show Gotham is it gives some villains in Batman's Rogue Gallery more screen time that wouldn't necessarily get it. Like
For some of them it's okay, but not everybody needs to be 10, 15, 20 years older than Bruce.
Yeah.
It's my problem with this freaking Joaquin Phoenix movie and why I rejected the notion of Alec Baldwin being cast, which he's not anymore.
Yeah,
so.
he stepped out of that real quick.
Yeah,
Real
I was gonna
quick.
say, like, as
The
soon as I saw you, like, the very
backlash
next
was-
day, gone.
Swift with that one.
If only that would happen more often.
Yeah.
Just more backlash, gone.
I mean, there's been a lot of that happening lately in movies, but I mean, it's
Scarlett Johansson.
the guy who got casted as Captain Dynamo in the Hellboy movie
Ed Sheeran.
originally, he got there was a lot of backlash around him, but that's more like the racial casting thing. The Alec Baldwin thing, I think people just thought it was fucking dumb.
Well, I'm like not just Alec Baldwin, but I'm against having Thomas Wayne in a Joker origin movie. If it was a Joker movie and he was an established Joker,
Well, because currently our Joker origin is that Batman theoretically is one of the reasons why he becomes the Joker.
right? Well, my thing is, how old's Joaquin Phoenix? Mid-40s, and this is his origin, and Thomas Wayne's still alive. So Bruce is 10 when he becomes the Joker. So then he's 60 when he becomes Batman.
Yeah, we have
So
Dark
we have a-
Knight Returns Joker with young Batman.
Exactly, that's my issue with like the whole concept of having Thomas Wayne in this movie.
The only reason why we need Thomas Wayne in the movie is if they do a live action.
They literally have Jesus in the shot. Like, if you needed more of a parallel of, hey, look what we're
If
trying
he,
to
like,
say.
kind of, like, turned around or something, too, so, like, literally mirrors it.
He should just walked around, like, walked down and be like, I like that painting. I also
Just
love the
opens
shot.
the doors
He's
or
just sitting there
something.
like, don't play games with me, General.
All right. You've got our attention. What is it you want? I would like to speak to Lois Lane. What makes you think she's here? Don't play games with me, General. I'll surrender. But only to guarantee Lois's freedom.
I love the second he decides to get up. Pink.
I don't understand why they even bothered.
It was symbolic.
Fair, but still.
Wouldn't be much of a surrender if I resisted. And if it makes him feel more secure, then all the better for
I guess that's all handcuffs really are, is a way for people to feel safe.
I've definitely watched movies off X-Men where somebody kills somebody with handcuffs on. Because Mystique, back in the day, was a G.
Was a savage.
Sliding under the door as it comes down, just giving the striker the bird. It's a whole other topic.
feel like those X-Men movies just need to live in their own thing, and they shouldn't try to like retcon anything except for the Deadpool shit.
I know. I can see your idea tagging the press box, along with a half-eaten roll of wintergreen lifesavers. You'll also see the squad of soldiers in this room, prepared to tranquilize the universe. You won't need it.
Sir, you can't expect us to not take precautions. You could be carrying some kind of alien pathogen.
Been here for 33 years, Doctor. Haven't infected anyone yet. That you know of. We have legitimate security concerns. Now, you revealed your identity in this lane over there. Why wouldn't you do the same with us? Let's put our cards on the table if we can. You're scared of me because you can't control me. You don't. And you never will.
I guess
That's my Superman.
That doesn't mean I'm your enemy.
I guess the handcuffs make that seem a little bit more powerful.
Let's put our cards on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Be that as it may, I've been given orders to hand you over to him. Do what you have to do, General.
I will say this movie did a good job of making me care about Superman.
Like, I never hated Superman, but like I also never cared about him. And I saw this movie and I was like, no, I actually really like Superman, and now I have Superman comics.
She's over here like, nope, still don't care about Superman.
I mean, I don't care about him like to the point where I'll go out and buy comics, but like,
Can I just say Earth One?
well,
It's two comics. You should just get those.
I'll check it.
and then-
I'll check
and then
that
this
out.
is-
But I'm not gonna like make it part of my weekly comic pickup.
Because I'll be honest, I don't love the New 52 or the Rebirth of Superman. I've flipped through them; they don't do much for me. But the Earth one's just really good. I like Superman more as he interacts with other characters, like the Justice League stories and stuff.
Go, horse.
I just can't wait to like throw my arms in the air for the freaking Smallville fight.
It was really good. I'm so happy we got that feeling again with the Doomsday, like the death of Superman. That was so refreshing.
Also, how come the CGI in Man of Steel is better than Justice League, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman?
Suicide Squad got pretty much re-edited right before it came out. Justice League
Here's the answer.
too.
They put a lot of time and work into this movie.
They didn't rush it.
They also left Zach alone for this movie.
True.
They should have done for everything else, but
this movie had the freedom every other real movie has, and that's why it came out so well.
Well, like Suicide Squad and Justice League, like both of them had a ton of reshoots. They were all pushing deadline really hard.
Also, they gave David Ayer, who isn't a screenwriter, he's a director, 2 weeks to make a script for Suicide Squad.
I mean, that movie I don't think was ever supposed to be script heavy. It was all just
The script for this started when they were in the middle of scripting Dark Knight Rises. Because Nolan wanted Goyer to like go back and like rethink and try to retoy the script, and he's like, he came back after like a few weeks. He's like, well, still don't know what to do with this movie, but I came with a great idea for Superman.
I remember when this came out, I thought it was supposed to be connected to the Nolan Batman movies, and I was like, that would be great originally. Like, I feel like this Superman and Bale Batman could exist in the same world.
I just don't think Bale has chemistry with other people.
He doesn't, and it's a shame. But
I like Ben with other characters. Like him and Wonder Woman just do it for me.
No, yeah. Ben and Gal Gadot just they work. I want to see who we get for our Green Lanterns.
do you think they're actually going to be brought into the next movies?
Well, the Corps movie has a release date.
That's true.
And I like that it's going to be called the Green Lantern Corps.
There'll be more than one.
Yeah, it's not just Hal Jordan.
We don't even know if it's going to be Hal Jordan.
We don't even know if we're going to get Sinestro before he turned.
Well, that was called Jordan for the movie too.
No, I mean, yeah, we get Jon Stewart in the New 52, we get Kyle Rayner in the New 52, Guy Gardner, they're all there.
Yeah, so we don't know the Green Lantern Corps movie what it's going to be.
They need to cool it though, because the fact that we have 6, 7 Earthbound Green Lanterns, it kind of defeats the purpose of the Green Lantern. 2 is like, I'm okay with 2. Like after 2, I'm like,
Well, it's like the Nova Corps. Like, why have more than Richard Rider and Sam Alexander? Just those two are fine. And they're two completely different generations of memory anyways.
But yet, when we get to the Bat family, we're like, yeah, sure, have 12.
I have no idea how long.
Yeah, the Bat family gets a lot of love, but
It's because they are 90% great characters on their own. Like, if you took them away from Batman, they're still good characters.
yeah, I was watching another video podcast the other day talking about what DC would be like if they didn't spend so much time on Bat family. This is specifically talking comics,
Yeah.
because right now, majority of DC's weekly comics or monthly comics are all part of the Bat family. I think they have like 12 to 15 Bat family books coming out, and there's not really anything else coming out from DC. But
This was a really great way to explore like the effects of Krypton in general and its atmosphere on Superman, like what it does to his body. This was like setting up kryptonite.
Yeah, Zod is so good. Such a good time.
a lot of people don't like that actor, but I think he did good as well.
I think he's perfectly hateable in Shape of Water.
He's
But
like hateable in everything that
I was
he's
gonna say,
in.
in,
Like, ever
That's how
since
good of an actor he is, though, because I still love him.
Like, he was
Those actors
the,
that I
like,
hate.
stepdad in 8 Mile, and we all hated him in that too.
Oh god, yeah. Look, Live Free, Die Hard. He was my guy in that one too. Oh, sorry, no.
he can come up here. I'll hold him.
Okay, fine.
And you can open any box.
Go.
Now that you're invited, come on.
Go.
Come on.
No more interested in this person over here.
So they were there for 15 minutes?
Yeah, because the Phantoms don't get that destroyed.
Yeah, I know.
Destined to float amongst the ruins of our planet until we starve. How did you find your way to Earth?
One thing I've always been trying to figure out is, so how old do we think Zod is in the beginning of the movie?
The father made a similar modification
Oh.
and crafted from
His
you.
30s?
30s? Okay.
Yeah. Because
So-
he had a relationship with Joel.
Yeah, Clark said,
33 years.
yeah. So he's like,
60.
yeah, he's like mid-60s. Does that seem weird to you? That our villains should be in his like mid-60s?
No,
For a physical, like, confrontation?
I mean, we're talking about Kryptonians. We don't know what they're like when they're 60.
That's true, their lifespan is not the same.
Yeah. Genji, I don't want your butt in my face.
This has the best climactic fight of any of the DC movies so far.
Yeah, a lot better than Justice League and BVS. I think,
Or Wonder Woman.
or even Wonder Woman. Realistically, like, nothing built up. This built up.
Well, Justice League built up, but we didn't get the villain we were supposed to get.
And just the more things I heard about what Zack Snyder was trying to do with Justice League and didn't get to, the more I'm just like,
Well, it was supposed to be a 2-part movie. The first part was supposed to be Steppenwolf. The second part was supposed to be Darkseid, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
but
that
Darkseid
would've
was
worked.
supposed to show up in the first one.
Yeah,
Like, there was
like
supposed
at
to be
the
a
end.
view of Apocalypse.
Well, it was while Cyborg was opening the mother boxes.
Right.
Is when we see Darkseid.
Which that would have worked.
They straight pulled it, and everybody hated them for it.
And they never, and there's so many things that they didn't, like, we're not getting an extended cut of Justice League, and we need one, because Steppenwolf goes like, for the mother, for Darkseid, and for common people, they go, the fuck is Darkseid?
Who the fuck is Mother?
Yeah.
Who the fuck is Darkseid?
I also love Black Suit Superman.
Where is the codex, Cap?
It's funny, the symbol on Zod's chest looks like the red sun,
red sun,
Batman, or Superman.
And 100% looks like Red Sun.
Oh, it does. It's the sickle without the hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Even your father recognized that.
And this imagery. I want to
This
just...
imagery is wild. It feels like a horror movie. Look at this.
I remember there was a flash of this in the trailer, and I was like, what is happening? It's Terminator. Can you just feel like dum-dum-dum-dum-dum, ba-dum-bum-ba-dum. They had to have a German scientist, though. Like,
Your father acquitted himself with honor, Cal.
yeah.
You killed him. I did. And not a day goes by where it doesn't haunt me.
I forget Zod's motivations.
But if I have
He's,
He really respected Jor-El too. It sucks.
it's,
and I will
Kal-El was the first natural birth in centuries, and everybody else was born like through their DNA designed to do a specific thing. He was designed to protect Krypton at all costs. When he awoke to Krypton's destruction, his internal goal then is to rebuild Krypton, but he can't rebuild Krypton without the Codex,
Okay.
which was put on Kal-El, or they think it was put on Kal-El's baby ship, but it is Kal-El. He is the secret to rebuilding Krypton.
Oh.
Which they don't know yet. They're still trying to find out where it is. I just don't know why we have a German Kryptonian.
Yeah, that's a little strange.
They always added like that World War II aspect.
Well, I feel like the German accent is just a good villain accent, you know?
Like if all Kryptonians were German, it'd be one thing. It's funny, like British, nobody bats an eye at, but like if you have one German guy, it's like why do you have a German guy? I also like the attention to detail with the visors for breathing in the atmosphere.
Yeah, they handle a lot of things very well with this.
That's why I think it's a sci-fi film.
It feels like a sci-fi film.
And we get some great Jor-El stuff with his AI guiding her through the ship. I don't know if you've noticed, this is my favorite Superman crest ever.
I totally spaced that this was happening today, so I don't have any superhero garb on.
That's garbage.
I mean, I have Batman on my keys.
Here we go.
Whatever. It's not that big of a deal. Out of everybody in the group, I obviously look like the Batman fan. Come on, I'm in all black.
He's actually a Star Sapphire fan.
Carol Ferris. Your guys' view is much better than mine right now.
Dude, I just found out last night that there's a Raven comic going on right now. They're like, it's not part of the Rebirth. I think they're doing a new initiative outside of Rebirth that is just called DC Universe, I think, because a lot of them have it stamped on there now, and I think they're only like 4 issues in or something like that, 4 or 5 issues in. I might have to look into it.
Russell Crowe is so good.
It bums me out that he doesn't do much these days.
Well,
I guess
after Noah,
well, yeah, and after Gladiator, he didn't really need to do much.
I love this look. Oh, you're dead. And there's so many good little subtle like Smallville kind of shout outs. Like you got Pete Ross and you got Lana Lang, and you don't get Jimmy Olsen, but you get Ginny Olsen. And then they kill Jimmy in BVS in seconds. And you only hear that his name's Jimmy Olsen in the Ultimate Edition. Yeah.
Secure yourself inside the open pod. Safe travels, Miss Lane. It's highly unlikely we'll be seeing each other again. Remember, phantom drives are essential in stopping them. We'll head to the lab. Is it true what Zod said about the Codex? Extractive panel. We wanted you to learn what it meant to be human first. So that one day, when the time was right, you could be the bridge between two peoples.
Jesus Christ.
Maybe that's another reason why I didn't really like Superman much. Like the like religion parallels just get like shoved down your throat.
I
Not
think
my thing.
I get that, but I also I don't know. I think there's something kind of there's something beautiful about the what's the word, Masonic? You know what I'm trying to say?
Messianic.
Thank you. Imagery.
Oh, the Messiah.
Like I'm down for like the concept of savior, like even not from like a religious standpoint. Superman was like our first superhero, like just in general, and so I think that that's kind of always what he should be. Kind of like Captain America should always, like at his core, be Captain America. Like, it's one of those characters you don't really fuck with.
Like I said, it's fine.
The BBS Aquaman.
His pants were not that green.
I don't have a single BBS or Justice League pop.
We have a Batman one with the goggles, I think, at the cave, and a Flash.
See, I told myself.
So you guys have the cave. We have the quiver.
Because arrows go in quivers. Injustice is so good. The writing in that book, so good.
I don't
I
have.
love.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I love that he subtly like hears his mom or like hears them over by his house and he just like no notice just takes off.
But
Right there. Ooh.
Yeah, I don't have any Justice League pops because I told myself I have to limit what I buy pop-wise or else I'll just always be broke. I have animated series and Hellboy. That's it. Well, I have a few others from before that, but
We don't fuck with Marvel. That's how you die.
Feor is just such a G in this movie.
I don't think I did like after Superman 2. I didn't think we'd get a better Feor. We really did.
The codex is not here.
We are actually hit.
Sonic Boom. So, can Zack Snyder like get back into movies so we can get a Dragon Ball Z movie?
Right though.
Like I remember being in theaters, being like, "Give me Dragon." Yeah. Because he's always been about style over substance, and that's kind of what you need for some Dragon Ball Z.
do we know if Snyder's actually working on anything at the moment?
Nope.
He did a short film that was like 15 minutes long. I don't know if he's actively working on a movie.
I mean, he kind of had to like put his whole life back together, so I'm not surprised. But I figured that out.
Yeah, a lot of things go really shitty in a short period of time.
Yeah, it's like one thing after another. That snowball built fast.
And I remember trying to take a positive spin when they're like, "Well, Joss Whedon will be stepping in." I was like, "Well, I like the Avengers," and I saw Justice League. I was like, "Yeah, well, you know."
I feel like Avengers probably would have done well with or without Joss. So
Financially, yeah, but I don't know. Some of the best moments are because of Joss, but some of the weakest moments of that movie are also because of Joss. Like,
people get so caught up in like his affiliation with Avengers, but at the same time, you already know that most of that was already like planned out beforehand.
sure. I will be one of the first to say I think Age of Ultron gets a little too much hate.
It was decent. It was a little too cheesy for me, but it was still a good watch. I'm still bummed about Quicksilver.
I prefer Aaron Taylor Johnson. I do.
Yeah, I think he's way better than the other two.
We've talked about this many times.
I hate him.
Get inside. Not safe.
They honestly just threw him into X-Men for the cool
I mean,
effects.
me and Hillary were talking about it, like the police station scene. He was like, everybody get out now. Nobody does anything, then he runs over like an AK-47 and shoots in the air. He's like, get off your asses. Like, that felt like Quicksilver. You know?
And that cocky, arrogant, what, you didn't see that coming? That's Quicksilver.
The
Oh.
other time it feels like we get that is an actual evolution.
Yeah.
The first two X-Men movies were solid.
First Class is it goes First Class, X2, X1.
I still haven't watched First Class.
Really?
Oh, really good. It's the best out of the new adaptation of X-Men movies.
But that's by far guaranteed.
I know everybody talks so much crap about Days of Future Past, but it was an enjoyable watch for me.
I just had too much that I wanted out of it.
That's fair. I don't read or know much about the X-Men storyline, so I went into it like, hey, this is going to be an X-Men movie. I'm going to see characters that I like.
I mean, I guess that's all you wanted out of it. You got that.
Yep. I think my first watch of it was the extended version too. So.
The road cut?
Mm-hmm.
I still haven't seen the road cut.
It was pretty good. I think I watched it at work over like 4 or 5 days on my lunch break.
Can we talk about for a second that one Kryptonian just popped that guy like a grape?
Kryptonians, man. I mean, Doomsday can do it. They can do it. Why not?
I get really tired of people's complaints about the destruction in this movie. Like, Superman is at a disadvantage this entire film. He's basically getting his ass thrown around buildings. And he's just trying to, like, make it through the fight. Son of hell. Unsure of yourself.
You got that one right.
Thank you.
Are you sure the word this wasn't in that?
You know what? Let's rewind it.
This is the Darwinism I was talking about. When she says that you're I forgot what the word she used, but she says it gives us an evolutionary advantage. And then she says, and evolution always wins. Right after she says evolution always wins, he proceeds to kick her ass. And you're done. Because it was that this fight is religion versus Darwinism. Religion's not doing good at the moment.
Because he's supposed to be, what's his face? The other person who's in Robot's crew, right? The big dumb.
Yes and no. Like, Zod, name-wise, I believe is the only constant from the original Superman 2.
Same with Feora. Feora and Zod.
I don't think her name was Feora in the... Her name is Ursa in 2.
Ursa?
It's Zod, Ursa, and Non.
Yeah. I feel like they're supposed to be Ursa and Nom then.
Basically.
Because what other giant Kryptonian do we get in this movie?
Right.
You know?
And Mammoth, he's probably like not even listed because they gave him no speaking lines.
I like how they have a U-Haul now.
You know what's kind of cool about the actress playing Feora that I found out is that she kept being turned down from every audition. They say Superman doesn't save anybody in this movie. Just throwing that out there. Very Superman moment. And he throws him out of the way. But the actress playing Feora was about to quit acting. This was like her last audition that she was doing. And she was like done with it because nobody would hire her, and Zach hired her.
For a big role too.
Yeah. I don't even think that big guy's credited because you like never get a good look at his face.
Oh my god!
So awesome.
We need a Dragon Ball Z movie from
So,
Zack Snyder.
Even this whole fight right here is 100% CGI, and it's still more convincing than Wonder Woman versus Ares or Doomsday. not right here, but I mean like whenever they clash and they're throwing each other around. Pulls out a knife.
I'll have to rewatch Wonder Woman and actually pay attention to the CGI between in that fight scene, because to me, like first couple watches, it looked fine.
It's not even the environmental CGI. It's just like Ares looks real bad to me. And the other thing is when the Amazonian is like jumping, gets hit by the bullet, her CGI is terrible. The beach fight, whenever it's a CGI thing, the timing isn't right. Of like the body movements don't look like human body movements.
It was very 3D.
Yeah, it's rubbery looking.
I wish they would stop making movies with focus on 3D because it ruins a lot of stuff.
I love this. Lunges forward and interception.
He was ready to fight though.
Oh yeah.
He's like, I'll take it.
Love it that, and when he like quotes that back.
Oh yeah.
So bad.
Oh wait, makes her eat it. I was ready for the destruction in this movie. I wanted the destruction. I wanted to see what it's like when Kryptonians fight. It's not Batman punching a criminal in the face.
Yeah, I feel like the whole backlash on the destruction thing is...
I just think people weren't ready for a Superman movie where he fights other Supermen, you know?
When you're talking about aliens that have like superhuman strength and stuff like that, yeah, they're going to be hitting people through walls and shit.
And they let you build to it too. It's not like the whole movie is this destruction action. It's like story. Okay, we're in the third act. Now it's just balls to the walls. Let's go. I'm a wama. Dun dun. I don't think they could have made the suit any better.
I'm so happy they got rid of the red underwear.
Yeah, I never understood why that needed to be a thing.
It was to represent this old strongman when they originally made Superman.
Yeah, I guess now thinking about it.
That was in 1938. So
yeah,
we're done. Like,
we don't need it anymore.
It's time for a modern take.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason Zack Snyder took away the underwear.
That's when I found out where it came from. I was watching like commentary for Man of Steel, and they're like, they said they tried like over 100 different incarnations with the red underwear still on it, and like, yeah, can't do it. And unlike Batman, where you have to change his outfit every single movie, they never had to change Superman's like costume, other than like minute little tiny
they
things.
don't need to change Batman's suit.
I'm not saying they do. I'm saying they do. Like they change it regardless.
Batman has a lot of suits.
She looks so much like my Nana.
Does that make you sad?
No, my Nana's alive.
Is her name Martha?
Why did you say that name?
What did you say?
What is her name? I've only ever known her as like Nana.
That's okay. I didn't know my grandma's name was Ardith until I was like 18.
Hold on, I do know her name. It's
Dude, it's like when you're introducing friends to your parents and you're like, this is my mom. Oh, wait, this is not your mom. What's my parents' name again? Hold on a second. Okay, then you go.
What's my name again? I just want to point out that this has bugged me every time I watch it. Wherever she goes, she's just always shouting Clark. I'm like, shut the fuck up. When he took off, there's cop cars showing up. She's like, Clark! I'm like, and then just there, she runs out of a cop car. Clark. Well, I guess he is also at Kent Farms, but you know. There you go. Here's the Codex explanation. Does he have to be alive for us to extract? Yeah. Well, shut up. Shut the fuck up. I was summarizing.
There are children watching this.
yeah, Thomas. Why did you say that name? What's your dad's name?
Rumor. WB still wants Lady Gaga for either Huntress or Black Canary.
Lady Gaga.
Her acting skills aren't terrible.
That's what I heard, and she's also going to be in that.
Canary, I could see her as Poison Ivy.
Yes, I agree with that.
Oh, her height though.
Well, I could see Lady Gaga so much more as a Poison Ivy than a Canary or a Huntress.
Somebody that's less physical. Like, I don't see her kicking ass, but I see her like with plants and like summoning.
I don't think she would fit as a good voice.
And she'd
I
fit
got you.
as a good Black
I
Canary.
don't agree with
or
that
Helena
either.
Bertinelli.
I don't agree with that either. But there has to be another character that she would work for.
She could do.
Because her acting chops are pretty good. Because
She could be Batman.
She looks good in A Star Is Born. Also.
I haven't seen that, but I watched her in American Horror Story Hotel, and that's one of my favorite seasons. She did a really good job in that. I mean, I guess she would do all right as Poison Ivy, but I have such a hard time trying to cast Poison Ivy in my mind.
I don't, Jessica Chastain.
I don't know who the fuck that is.
Oh no, me and Tyler were talking about this before we did our last podcast. Rose Leslie from Game of Thrones. Ygritte.
I don't fucking watch Game of Thrones either, dude.
You're the worst.
I don't.
Ain't nobody got time for
I
all
don't
that
watch
shit.
Game of Thrones.
Neither do I.
Okay.
What was her name?
You're alone here.
Rose Leslie.
You're
For
alone.
once, you're
I
outnumbered.
know people watching the podcast like, no, you guys are alone. Y'all need to watch Game of Thrones.
Everyone
I got time
else.
for that shit. I really have time to watch a movie.
I can see it.
But you have to like
Each
watch her
episode's
act
like an hour.
Yeah.
also, like not just looks.
I heard like
But I
the
mean, just
last
based
like
on looks,
season's
would
gonna
be-
have like 1.5, 2 hour long episodes or something. Like that's a movie for an episode.
I will probably never watch Game of Thrones because of how much time commitment it is.
Yeah.
I've watched it 3 times. Sorry,
Dude,
not
it took
sorry.
me-
I mean, hey, that's your time, though, not mine.
It took me almost a year to watch the 12 episodes of Constantine.
So good.
So good. I'm still so upset about the ending.
Like every time I tell people that like I'm so mad I can't, like, well, he's on Legends. I'm like, it's not
No.
the same. The story of Constantine is so much better than like Legends or Arrow or
Well,
Flash.
and it ends on such a
Sorry.
twist.
So I said it. I liked when they were both on air, Flash and Constantine. At that point in time, I preferred Constantine.
That was when Flash was brand new, too, and Flash was killing it.
Yeah, so was Constantine. I'm sorry.
Except for that canceled.
Constantine
Doesn't mean it wasn't killing it.
suffered being on the wrong network at the wrong time.
Yep, wrong network, wrong time. I thought I was gonna add something to it, but I just gonna repeat
That's
that.
literally
It's
the
DC
nails in the coffin.
Supernatural, so they couldn't have put it on the CW.
Except they
Because
should
we
have,
all-
because it would have
we
been so
already have
successful.
CW there. Or CW, we already had
But now
CW.
he's on CW anyways. He just doesn't have his own show.
It'd be like 2 Supernaturals playing back to back. Yeah, we'd watch it.
But I feel like Constantine.
It doesn't have the same aura or elements when he's in other shows. When he's in other shows, he's not his Constantine. Like it's completely different.
Yeah. No, I do agree.
Did you get the chance to
You
finish
should watch
watching it?
Constantine.
Really did one
I really
episode,
do wanna
and
get
then
into the comics
animated
for it, though.
episodes of City of Demons. Because CW only has 1 episode for that.
So, City of Demons, when it first came out, it was like 6 5-minute like videos.
Oh, that's probably what it is then. They did the same thing with Vixen. Vixen was like less than 10
When
minute
that
episodes.
happened, I was so upset. I was like, wait,
Yeah,
you
so
like
I
advertised this whole season of a Constantine animated show,
And
and
it's less than an animated movie.
6 episodes, 5 minutes long.
Yeah, it's 20 minutes long. Or 25 minutes.
But they're
something
doing
like
a City of Demons movie. Like, why not just make it the whole season instead of like a 30-minute episode? But I digress.
So we were watching Constantine one night, and
Like the
So here's
the
actually a
live
story
action
about it.
actual movie.
the
Oh, Keanu.
we decided to give it another watch.
It's entertaining.
It's still good.
I still like it.
While we were watching it, we heard like a groan, and the whole house over here was shaking. And it was like a solid shake. We're like, what the fuck? And so she thought it was just loud car outside or something. I go outside. There's no noise outside. There's no planes, no helicopters, no vehicles.
We literally saw our fan shaking.
I came back in, the house is still shaking. I'm like, what the fuck? And all of a sudden it stops. And Hannah and Alex are upstairs freaking out.
I thought you were gonna say
What were you watching?
That's what I thought too.
Oh, that
That's
happens too.
immediately where my head
Yeah.
went.
That happens too.
They shake our living room all the time, but
This is a different kind of shaking.
but like, and I
Sonic
started talking
boom.
about like something looking at him, and I was like, well, why didn't you do? And so all I got out of that is those motherfuckers were messing with a Ouija board or some shit, summoning some spirits, and
Just at the
Okay.
opportune time.
that we're watching Constantine.
I want everybody who has not noticed or seen this to see Christopher Reeve in this movie.
Oh yeah,
Because a lot of people don't know that it happens.
yeah. During the while he was going
Yeah.
against the Terraformers.
When the world engine is crushing him, his face starts rippling into Christopher Reeve, and it's awesome. Did you know that?
No.
Did you know
Why the
that?
hell would I know that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is cool. You see his lips thin out and his jawline change. It's very cool.
I'm probably gonna end up buying Constantine the season if I can get a physical copy of it. I'll let
I
you
think
know.
FYE has it.
Yeah,
I
I've
will
seen it
totally
around.
buy it because that show was worth owning.
Yeah.
I concur.
I still need to get.
I
season
thought
3
about
and 4
buying
to be honest.
Ash. I haven't yet. But
Oh, Ash vs. Evil Dead. I didn't watch any of that either.
if you like, it's just a more comical.
I know.
Actually, I won't make the comparison. It's different enough to like call its own thing. But if you like darker stuff, like you should.
Oh,
enjoy
trust
it.
me, I
love Zod's Scar. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Immediate Scar. Like,
would have watched that show. I just never had the time.
look
I don't
how he
have much
They're only
time to
30-minute
watch.
episodes.
Look how fast he adjusted to it, though. Like,
Where were you trained? On a farm? Okay,
I don't know if he was that southern.
I resent that remark though because he got his ass kicked by a scientist, so he needs to, chill the fuck out, children.
Genesis chamber coming online, sir.
Stop this off. While there's still time.
There's so much world building.
Haven't given up lecturing me, have you?
Even in death. Did I get that one
I
right?
will not let you use the codex like
Pretty
this.
close.
You don't have the power to stop me.
Wasn't too
The
southern.
command key I have entered is revoking
You did say kind of southern.
Oh my god, shut up.
my control.
Where were you trained on the farm?
Okay, it's going.
I gotta pay attention to this now.
the smoker's cough covered by.
You mean the cough that all of us had for about 3 weeks there?
Yeah. Hentai.
I've seen enough where this goes.
It's an interesting defense mechanism.
All their technology is just really well displayed in this.
It makes me
It's so
excited
cool.
to see a Brainiac.
Well, Brainiac's in Krypton. I've only gotten like 3-4 episodes into it.
But he's just that long. And then Billy was like, actually, that's from Big Hero 6.
That's a franchise that needs to have a lot more.
Yeah, no, that movie doesn't. Like, there's like Wreck-It Ralph, like there needs to be multiple of it.
When's the next Wreck-It Ralph movie coming out?
I want to say December sometime.
I totally spaced on that.
Yeah, that's totally Big Hero.
Okay, can we talk about like that December 21st release date though for like those 8 movies that are all coming out on the same fucking day?
They're
What's in IMAX?
What's up?
What's in IMAX?
Oh, what's available on IMAX?
No. I'm saying like when that happens, like
Oh,
yeah, which one's gonna land the IMAX?
Aquaman. I think out of those releases would top out Mary Poppins or
There's a Mary Poppins movie
Yes.
coming out.
Yeah.
with Emily Blunt. I'm seeing it.
Yeah. But exactly that though, like it's Disney for IMAX versus Warner Brothers for IMAX.
Right, but
Who's
like,
going to take
which
the
movie
IMAX
is
over?
more cinematic?
Life of Pi?
Hang on, I gotta look this up because a lot of people don't realize how many movies are freaking coming out.
I
on
feel like the
Sunday.
only reason why they're dropping that many movies is because most of us celebrate Christmas here, I imagine, right?
Yeah.
People
Oh
who
no,
do-
he's Jewish.
most people who don't celebrate Christmas will go out to the movie theaters.
I see movies on Christmas. I meet with my family and then I go.
I didn't spend one Christmas with my dad, and they went to see Avatar when it was in movie theaters,
I
and they were
remember
like,
that, yeah.
it was like a 30-minute line to get into the movie theater, and then it was like another 40-minute line to get some concessions and all that
All right.
stuff. Just so many people.
No, fuck working at the movie theater on Christmas. I've worked it for 4 years. I work for Christmas. Never again.
I just would never think that would be a busy day, but yet again.
The busiest day of the year.
Because everybody gets it off.
That and Ramadan.
You guys see that there's embryos ready to go on this ship. All right, so this is all the same day. All these movies are released the same
What do we
day.
got?
Aquaman,
Okay.
Bumblebee.
What is
There's a
Bumblebee?
Bumblebee
Yes,
movie?
exactly.
Transformers
So
spin-off.
between the two, which is going to be IMAX?
Bumblebee looks kind of cool though because he's an actual like beat-up beetle, which is what he should have been.
Okay.
But
Holmes and Watson with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. That sounds kind of hilarious, and I would see it. I'm waiting for a trailer still.
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
Step Brothers.
Welcome to Marwin, which is counter programming. That's like completely different, but it's that Steve Carell movie with the where he kind of imagines the figures that he creates coming to life.
The toy one.
Alita Battle Angel looks like a lot of fun.
So that's an IMAX movie.
It's
I
not gonna
haven't
it's
heard
not
that.
gonna get noticed though.
Exactly that. It's going to hit such an undertone for when it comes out. People are going to see it because everything else is sold out.
These I don't know what these movies are. This is that's other countries. There's other movies. Where are they?
Big Hero 6. Yeah, it's like a little nanobots. That's what it was. The nanobots.
Tony Stark would be proud. Alright, he's getting thrown into the beam, which means we're getting close. Also, this is probably one of my favorite music builds in the whole movie.
So it goes from dead silence.
Hans Zimmer's so good at that.
Nobody likes you, Jenny. We want our Jimmy.
Jenny.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is also December 21st.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that going to be in the theaters?
Yeah.
Puss in Boots.
Again?
Yeah.
No, that's a lie.
Puss in Boots 2, 9 Lives and 40 Thieves.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
That was the first like big IMAX movie I worked when I started on my theater.
Because you dressed up as him.
I dressed up
There's
as
pictures of it.
No, yeah.
None of these lists are giving me the full list. It's really annoying me. I'm getting it in like pieces.
Wait, where's the part?
That was also
Is it
an
coming up now?
IMAX movie.
Yeah, it's when it's right here.
Okay.
All right, Christopher Reeve, watch his face. Video close-up shot of his face.
Not the constipated one.
Watch how his lips thin out and like the structure of his face changes. I just love the imagery of him like making his way through the world engine.
Oh, totally.
Yep, there's Christopher Reeve right there.
That's kind of cool.
It's like more he looks up. I think I'd seen the movie 3 or 4 times before somebody like shared the GIF with me of it like playing over and over again. I was like, oh my god.
The GIF?
GIF?
I was about to say
Jif,
something
Jif?
about that.
Peanut butter? What? I don't know.
I said
Butter.
GIF.
Oh,
But
I get it.
isn't the official pronunciation GIF?
Yeah, the creator said that it's not, but that doesn't make any sense though, because it's graphics.
Yeah.
It's not graphics or whatever.
Let me double check this. I think Mortal Engines is also December 21st. The Peter Jackson movie with the rolling cities.
Really?
That looks awesome.
There's so many movies coming out
Yeah,
that I
but-
don't even know anything
So
about.
far you've named like
Oh, that's
4 or
December
5
14th. I'm sorry.
I was
falling
gonna say
wrong.
so far you've named like 4 or 5 IMAX movies.
Let's be
I
honest.
think Aquaman's
every
gonna take it.
theater's probably gonna have different IMAX movies.
No, I do think Aquaman is going to take it, but Puss in Boots was an IMAX movie at release. You know,
I don't think-
as an example.
I don't.
The first Puss in Boots.
Kitty softballs.
I know another way I can do.
My cat is Kitty softballs. Well, one of my cats.
Loadmasters, the package armed and are we ready to drop?
Negative, Guardian! There's something wrong. It's not supposed to do this.
What's it supposed to do?
It's supposed to go in all the way.
Giggity. Every time I see it.
Go bounce aircraft.
This dude's self-sacrifice was so dope.
A good death is its own reward.
We are lined up for the drop. What's the holdup? Not a flight catch-up.
There's another slight setback.
He tries to do this the right.
Halo.
Huh?
It's a Phantom from Halo.
He tries to do this the right way by sending them all to the Phantom Zone.
Target that aircraft.
I also love Zod's armor. Okay. The way Superman just plows in there.
So it looks like one of those ships, but it also looks like kind of like a what's the other ship in Halo? I can't remember the name of it.
Krypton on
The
its
main
chance.
ones?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely looks more like a Covenant ship, but isn't there a Marine ship that looks like that?
Oh, you gotta go
Oh,
Pelican?
No, not the Pelicans. Because I could have
Hey Thomas, welcome back.
Bigger ships that kind of look similar to that.
All the Marine ships are kind of boxy.
Yeah, they're kind of blocky.
Yeah, that looks like a Phantom.
Definitely looks like one of the Covenant's bigger ships, though, with having the bigger back on it.
I like the carriers.
I really want to play Halo now. I haven't played Halo in
over the weekend.
so long.
We like land party to Halo 3 with 10 people.
Nice.
It was solid.
Dude, we spent so much time in high school playing Halo 3.
It'd be funny if somebody edit that scene where Superman comes flying into the ship, but it's just Master Chief with the bomb.
They totally could. You might
Give
just
it
give
back their
somebody
bomb.
an idea. Some random person will come across this video and be like, that's a great idea.
Okay.
Gotta make it into a GIF.
What are you doing? Keeping me
Did
covered.
anyone hear the Wilhelm?
Huh?
Anyone hear the Wilhelm scream?
Oh yeah, the Wilhelm had to be there. While we're on the topic. of
Okay,
Halo.
this is the way she just gets through people. That's when it really started feeling like Dragon Ball Z in Smallville when she like zipped through them.
like right there.
Yeah. Like toying with her food.
That would suck, that knowing you couldn't do anything to stop her, but like your natural instinct would be to like attack her and like shoot at her, knowing it does nothing.
Look at that. Here's a tough reward.
Have we played Halo 5? Yeah, it's what made me regret getting an Xbox One.
The only like good thing to come out of Halo 5 was the opening cinematic.
Was it really that bad?
Yeah, it was. Okay,
The fight scene between Chief and Locke is.
it was shit. They marketed the whole thing like it was a Batman vs Superman, like it was a Civil War. And guess what? It was the exact thing that Batman vs Superman and Civil War delivered us. Like a 2-minute fight scene that nobody gave a fuck about. Like, while
Civil War resents that.
while Blue Team was there, like they were like, can we just kind of fucking hurry this up so we can keep going? Like that's what happened during the fight in Halo 5. It was so bad. The only decent there was two. There was the war on San Helios. So there was like a civil war on San Helios that Army was part of, which was super sick. And then there was the opening cinematic with the Fire Team Osiris when they jumped out of the aircraft and they were running down the hill taking out the Covenant. Fire! Like it was one of the coolest cinematics Halo's ever given us. That was it. Like nothing, and the multiplayer was good.
And after that, the quality was gone in a
But,
flash.
Yeah, exactly that. In a flash. There's shit.
That bums me out because
I haven't actually played Halo 5. I've just seen that cinematic where it's the fight scene.
I was at that debate where it's like, do I want to get a PS4? Do I want to get an Xbox? And I was like, if I get a PS4, I can't get Halo anymore. So I got the Xbox One and I got Halo 5. I returned it in 2 days.
Yeah,
I was like, nope. And now I've been stuck with my Xbox One, and I keep getting games for it because I got too deep. Because I'm in too deep, and I'm trying to keep.
I really want a PS4 for some of the exclusive games that they have.
I need Spider-Man. It's got. I need it.
Not The Last of Us. I'm like all the Warhammer games.
God of War.
All the anime games. Like PlayStation.
There's
has
a
the
lot of
exclusives.
good. Mm-hmm.
You know, the only good exclusive to go to Xbox is the Master Chief Collection for Halo 2
Oh,
Anniversary.
did you see that? Did I send it to you?
The Tomb Raider one? I said
I would say for Kingdom Hearts, but Kingdom Hearts is now going to be available on Xbox soon.
There's gonna be.
I've always been more of a PlayStation guy.
Yep.
There's something like that.
The script is in the delivery.
Send it to me.
I exist only to protect Krypton.
close.
It's for the greater good
Of my people.
of my people.
I forgot the and. Shut up. Look at him. He's trying to care. Like, I'm sorry. That's my beef.
What you have taken from me.
He just
It's a
dicks
Dragon
him.
Ball Z fight.
Yes!
That's pretty much what this is.
Yeah, this is
100%.
I'm going to make him suffer now. These humans
The armor is just.
And everyone talks about the destruction in the scene. I'm like, you see that half the city's gone from the world engine already, right? Like, just.
Most of the buildings they're going through are destroyed.
And people have been evacuating for a hot minute. I mean, yeah, everyone.
Yeah, like
Okay, everyone in that building was already dead. Like, I'm just throwing that out there.
it's
gone.
like
Yeah, nobody's in there.
the fact like the evac has been going on for so long, and like the opening scene of BVS, there's so many people like running out while they're fighting specifically.
Yeah.
Is pretty crazy.
I love that opening scene.
It's
with
so good,
Bruce
though.
just-
I don't want to take anything away from that scene, but like there's too many people there if they've been evacing.
No, it's a good point. But I love seeing it from Bruce's perspective.
Oh yeah.
That's what bothers me about the Martha thing is like they gave Batman so much just like good reasoning and build up for that fight that the fight was too short and ended too stupidly.
Agreed.
They should have found another way to kind of humanize Superman 2 Batman.
See, but that's really the only thing that humanizes Batman is his parents.
That's a Lex quote. Yeah, see, there's another one. I love that. Zoop. Nope. And I love their little karate, like 5 seconds of Dragon Ball Z.
That
Dragon Ball Z.
CGI reminded me of the CGI in Blade 2 when he's fighting the vampires in the first like couple scenes.
A little bit. It's not a good thing. But
I like how part lands on him, he just tosses it off.
Isn't there a rumor about Wesley
yeah,
Snipes
Wesley
doing
Snipes
2 more
apparently
movies?
is talking with Marvel, but that would make sense.
I love the way he runs up the building, just like
If they can somehow manage
he
to bring,
so
He holds
beastly.
it, yeah. Look at that.
if they can somehow manage to bring Wesley Snipes back into Blade, I would be so happy.
All right, I'm gonna throw a name out there, and you guys aren't immediately gonna know who it is. But when I tell you, maybe you'll think it's good casting. You know who I said it in my head. Now I can say it out loud. Marshala Ali. Fucking never mind. The guy from Luke Cage.
I knew you were
Cottonmouth.
I knew you were gonna. Make
Cottonmouth would make
yeah.
a great Blade.
The moment you said you're not gonna know who he is, I was like, he's talking about fucking Cottonmouth.
Marshall.
Yeah.
Fucking I.
All right.
No, especially in a lot of his latest movies.
How do you pronounce his name? Marshall.
Because he's doing the movie with.
Damn! Do you see his whole name and why he goes by Marshala? Like, look at his first name. Marshala. What the fuck is that?
I could see him being Blade. He
Right?
has the looks.
He's already been in Marvel.
Yeah, but they don't even acknowledge Netflix anymore. Like, they don't even try to tie that shit in. Also, Alfred, whatever her name is his sister. Plus, she was in Civil War. Alfred Woodard. Why am I bad with names right now?
No, she was in Civil War because her son was killed.
Same actress.
I would love a new Blade movie, but I don't want it to be the Blade TV show that happened briefly.
No,
I'm just happy there's a new Spawn.
but I do want a Blade TV show though.
It'd be cool.
I want a Marvel Knights universe.
Yeah.
I want like a Ghost Rider show. I want a Blade
Punisher,
show.
Blade.
Morbius.
The Midnight Sun. The Midnight. Don't even get me started again.
Don't tug on Superman's cape.
But I think we all need to accept the fact that that'll probably never happen.
One can dream.
You never know, though. I mean, seeing how
We have Guardians of the
much
Galaxy. Like,
comics have grown.
Kick-Ass had 2 movies. Kingsman had 2 movies.
Kingsman came out. No, I didn't even know that was a comic book movie until recently.
I had no idea until just now.
It's also Mark Millar who did Kick-Ass.
Yep.
And Nemesis.
And all of his shit just got picked up by Netflix.
Yes, it did.
I still need to.
I'm looking
read
forward to that.
I mean, Nemesis.
Yes, you do. Like I said, it's a one-off. It's really easy.
Well, you can see it.
So you said you looked through that issue?
No, I got the issue because she just like, it was 50 cents, so she just threw it in. What I bought.
But you
All
flipped through and
stuff.
saw how gory and graphic it is?
Oh, that,
I read it.
This is such a
Controversy
insane-
number 5 or whatever.
the biggest one.
The big one.
Which it shouldn't be.
No.
I kind of understand
It makes
people.
sense.
It was
It does.
them or him.
And it was supposed to demonstrate Superman choosing humanity. It's the choice is Krypton or humanity, and he makes his choice. And he tries to not to have to take that choice.
As much as I would love to think that he could have stopped Zod in another way, there really isn't.
There's no
any
other way, yeah.
There just isn't.
Yeah, you can't lock Zod up. Zod literally wants to kill everybody because he lost his purpose.
Mm-hmm. That's what he was trying to do, was restart Kryptonite, so.
That's such a gnarly break.
Yeah, sonic boom break. Just
It has to take a lot of strength, too. Like,
yeah, he had to fully commit to his decision. It wasn't a little crack. It was like, it's
His head might as well have spun around like 6 times.
She said, "Where's the lie?"
and then just perfect cry of agony because he hated that.
which isn't cheesy at all.
I don't
Actually
think so.
solid.
Yeah.
Well, no, just most of the time I feel like in movies when there's that pivotal, like, supposed to be scream or cry, it's like ends up cheesy, but
Zod was such a good villain.
Mm-hmm.
This was
Well,
Zod.
and they
We got
were-
Zod twice too. He was this and he was Doomsday.
True.
And on the nose.
I feel like
Doomsday.
they wrote
He
Zod
was- he-
so well in this.
He was clumped up cat litter. I refuse to say Doomsday.
He was so he was just Zod and Zod covered in cat litter.
I feel like they
Lex licked him and rolled him in.
they gave him such a good character development to like combat Superman.
Yeah,
and,
first
like,
aircraft.
I just think he's kind of hot.
Oh. Fucking Carol.
What? Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, what we can assume is
Are you
Carol.
effing stupid? One of your surveillance drones. That's a $12 million piece of hardware.
It was.
It was. I know you're trying to find out where I hang my cape. You won't. And I'll ask the obvious question. How do we know you won't one day act against America's interests?
I was born in Kansas.
Grew up in Kansas.
Fuck!
About as American as it gets. Look, I'm here to help. But it has to be on my own terms. And you have to convince Washington of that. Even if I were willing to try. What makes you think they'd listen? I don't know, General. Guess I'll just have to trust you.
I just don't like that, in my opinion, what is my Superman has been in movies that I don't love.
What are you smiling about, Captain?
Nothing, sir. I just think he's kind of hot.
So does he, I guess.
So is he? Yeah.
I feel like you can still appreciate those movies because you love that character so much.
But I actually don't love his portrayal in BVS. In Justice League, I'm down for it, but like,
in BVS, he was whiny and sad and.
Well, I
He
mean,
lost-
he's coming off of this, so he's probably having
Iron Man 3.
he's probably having all sorts of identity issues.
Iron Man 3.
Haven't seen it. You've told me not to watch it.
Yeah, he's already saying Iron Man 3.
Iron Man
the
3
only like cool part in that whole movie was when he has all the suits come out.
Oh, you're talking about the
But
one
then-
that he throws away?
What?
yeah, and they get torn apart like paper mache.
All the
Which was
hardware.
kind of stupid. But
was
that,
pretty
like, the welcoming home party or whatever it was called was cool. But
Iron Man 3 is
House party,
worse than
whatever.
Batman and Robin
This
for me.
scene is
I would rather
amazing.
watch Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin was more fun.
Yeah, exactly.
In Iron Man 3, the effects were nice.
Like,
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
The Ice Age.
Batman and Robin was a bastardization and it knew it. Iron Man 3 was a bastardization pretending like it was good.
What are you going to do when you're not?
And I love the explanation of why he decides to be in the Daily Planet.
I gotta find a job where I can keep my ear to the ground.
me a bone. Of course, that seems to be beginning tonight. We said.
I say, you should go back to trolling the intern pool. You'll probably have more luck. Sorry.
Of course, I
Don't.
I like how he saved her life, and she's like, "No, I'm not going to do it."
You're watching Show on the Ropes. This is Clark Kent. Good luck, kid. Hey, Steve. Nice to meet you too.
Hi. Lois Lane. Welcome to the planet.
He's so damn Clarky.
Glad to be your host.
Welcome to the planet.
It's
I saw that stuff. So what do you think? Even though you don't like Superman.
Have you seen this?
oh, I feel bad for talking the
Yeah,
whole
no
damn
shit.
thing out.
God, Jesse.
Ah,
I was
man.
at least somewhat quiet over
I
here.
feel like a
after
lot of it's my fault.
I
You
assume
done
you're right.
messed up, hey, bro.
You want to go to war, Balake? This whole class can go to war.
I love that. He's like, present. Just
Timothy, present.
present, that's right.
So you're still meh?
Yeah, it did
It
Superman
was
for
Right.
me.
Suicide Squad, yeah?
Get the tiki torches. Put hers out. You've been voted off.
Even voted off, yeah. This is my island. I bought this island.
Please leave.
All right, everybody, that was Man of Steel. Hopefully you enjoyed us talking through the entire thing about non-relevant or
I know,
semi-relevant
we're
things.
literally gonna have to do like a closing talk.
I think
that was it.
we talked about,
We talked about pretty much everything.
yeah,
And then some.
and then a little
We
bit of
went
Man of
from
Steel
dicks
in
to
stream.
Jesus
Okay, it took me
to-
5
We
minutes.
went
From,
from
Like,
It's
be
literally where the
honest, how
conversation
much of that
started.
movie did you really watch?
I watched the Christopher Reeve face. So, all right, guys, if you haven't seen Man of Steel, go watch Man of Steel. Let us know if you enjoy it, if you love it, if you hate it, what do you like and not like about it. We will just leave this video on the channel as a Man of Steel talking point, so use it as such. And until next time, from all of us, Dan, myself,
Oh, yeah.
Shane, Julie, and Alex, may the film be with you.
Peace.
Yeah. May the force be with you. Oh wait, that's no longer possible.
You're fucking it up.